So Trump is speaking in Coralville, Iowa. We're gonna take a sampling of this, but I don't need to do the whole fucking thing because what a waste of time. But he's of course standing like a dickhead while they play the Lee Greenwood song. I think this is very good. I think they should have this picture like on a placard next to him. You know what I mean? While he's just hanging out. I'm gonna stand here. I forgot. Here's the song. Yeah, he's in Iowa again. Here's the thing. His numbers just dropped in Iowa. He's been spending a lot of time there. The more time that he spends there, interestingly enough, the worse his numbers do. Like he was doing great before he started doing these little shit rallies. And it might be that he's a blathering dickhead and they're all bored and they're rethinking him because they've seen him more often than ever. And they, unlike some of us where we've just kind of drifted through this shit and gone, I'm done, and we leave or we check out at some point. Yeah, there he goes. He's singing the USA part and then he walks up. Hey. Wow. Yeah. Again, the more of these people end up. Thank you, Coral Falls.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, this is going to be a lot of fun tonight. We have a little time, right?
For me to blather, right?
Hello, I'm thrilled to be back with so many proud, hardworking patriots in the heartland, absolute heartland of America. Thank you.
It's such the heartland. And that's why I like it, because the head isn't here.
Thank you very much. We're just 33 days away from Iowa, first in the nation. I wonder how you got that. You got that because of me.
No, they kept it, arguably, because he made the rules with the RNC about that, because he needed a caucus to get ahead of everybody else.
First in the nation caucuses, and we're going to keep you first in the nation for a long time. You know, the Democrats bailed out. And without Trump, you wouldn't be first in the nation anymore either. But we kept you right here where you belong. You're going to be here for a long time. First in the nation.
Because you already have a structure set up for the incumbent to be able to punch his way through. And again, why?
On Monday, January 15th, we're going to win the Iowa caucuses, and then we're going to crush crooked Joe Biden next November, and we're going to very simply make America great again. So
his team has decided to put the talking points that he usually gets around to at the end of it, early on in it, because he's been rambling so much.
And, you know, the polls came out just recently, and we're way, way, way up.
No, you're actually down.
You have to do me a favor, just go out and vote. You know, terrible things have happened.
Also, they don't vote in a caucus. You group together and hold up your hand. It's technically a vote, but it's more like political infighting.
No, he's got it made. Well, wait till November. No, you got to get out, caucus, get out and vote.
Yeah,
because we have to we have to put big numbers up, really big numbers.
Yeah, you have to.
Sometimes, you know, you lead.
Hold on. Why are you being slow?
We have to slab it.
There you go.
By so much, they say, I think let's sit home and watch a movie, and we'll watch the results afterwards. And we don't want to do that. You got to get out and vote.
Because his numbers are not anywhere near as good as he thinks they are. And caucuses, I got to say, like they can throw they can throw a monkey wrench in because it's all these kind of like loud groups.
And after we do that, we'll worry about November. But we got to get Biden out of there. He's horrible. Worst president we've ever had. I want to thank Iowa Attorney General, who has been
It is very hard to say Attorney General.
Incredible. I'll tell you, she's an incredible patriot and woman. Brenna Byrd, thank you. State Representatives, Luana Stoltenberg. Luana?
Don't choke to death.
Wherever you may be, Luana, thank you very much. Great supporter. Steve Bradley.
I like going to Iowa because everybody's names are easy to say.
Thank you, Steve. Great.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to stick around for a little while. We're after the regular show. So consider this House Sparks After Dark. You come and go as you please. I won't put the ending on the show. We'll dive into a little bit of this, but I went a half hour over already. So if you have someplace to be, I understand. But if you want to stick around, hit that like button and okay. Also, patreon.com/HalSparks. We're trying to get to 1,000. We got like We don't have 1,000, but we're trying for 1,000.
Heather Hora. Heather, thank you. Thank you, Heather. Mark Cisneros. Mark. Thank you, Mark. These are great people. Cindy Golding and Bobby Kaufman.
Nobody cares.
Thank you very much. Great job, Bobby. Former
job.
Acting Attorney General of the United States, Matt Whitaker.
That dude's following him everywhere because he's going to be in the cabinet next time is the idea.
And we have this beautiful, big, strong, physical specimen. I never knew they made punters that big. I didn't think punters, but he's a big guy. All-American, #1 in the country, Tory Taylor from the Iowa Hawkeyes. Oh, he's going to make a lot of money. I want to be his agent. Can I be your agent, please? I want to be his agent. Anyway, you're going to have a great career. Fantastic. Almost 49 yards a punt. That's a big number. #1 in the country. So it's great to have you. And the team is wonderful. Wonderful people.
They just boosted the audio.
Most importantly, I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. You remember when I started, I said, we're going to bring back Christmas. People said, sir, it would be preferable if you didn't say Merry Christmas. I said, like hell, we're going to bring it back.
No, they didn't. Notice how the Sir stories have just gone off the fucking rails, that any whimsical idea he has, there was always some, like, toady that he hired or appointed that was telling him what he can't do. Just horseshit. Like, this motherfucker gives a goddamn about Christmas and what it stands for.
And we brought it back. During this holiday season, families all across America are struggling under the brutal weight of Bidenomics. You know, Bidenomics means a lot of bad things. This year alone,
it means a lot of bad things. Like the stock market just going to, what was it? What happened to the stock market today? I just want to see this. Let's see. Bidenomics. Let's see. The stock market, oh dear. 37,090. Oh, that would be up. That would also be a record. Yeah, is 37,000 a record? I believe so. What about oil? Oil's probably got to be terrible. It's probably oil prices got to be like $150 a barrel. What do you think? 150? Let's see. Oil prices. Let's just check it out because that's got obviously Bidenomics. Oh, Bidenomics. There's $69.97 a barrel. There you go. That's good. Okay. And then there's not it. Well, Bidenomics. But hey, at least there are no jobs being created and unemployment sucks. So you can still run on that. Yeah.
The typical American family is $7,500 poorer because Crooked Joe's globalist blunders and greedy betrayals have really hurt us badly.
Okay, by the way, the $7,000 they're literally talking about is from the extra money given during the pandemic from the government. That ended, and so they want that to count as like Americans lost wages of that level.
Joe Biden is a low IQ individual, and he is truly the worst, most incompetent, and most corrupt president in the history of the United States. You know, I used to treat him with much more respect.
No, he didn't, and this is so stupid.
But once they indicted me over charging a fake and broken and corrupt election.
Overcharging a fake and broken and corrupt election. You charged it?
By the way, yesterday Rasmussen came out with a poll. Did you see it? It said that on mail-in voting,
yeah, that's what he's quoting.
20% of the ballots were rigged and broken and disgusting. 20%.
Yes, that's what it said. It was a direct quote. You guys, I showed you that earlier in the show. Rigged, broken, and disgusting.
That's about millions more than we would have needed. And it's a disgrace what's taking place between open borders and broken borders and
bouncy borders and bing bong borders.
A broken election system. It's a horrible thing that's going.
Broken borders and a broken election system. Everything's broken, whatever. But, I guess you could be MAFA, like Make America Fixed Again.
Going on. But I would have treated him better, and I treat him not necessarily nicely because he's a terrible president, but I would treat him with a lot more.
Because you were running against a woman the first time, and it was really hard for you to attack a white guy because it just kind of goes against your nature kind of in general. unless they're a direct competitor within your own sphere.
Respect than I do right now, because what he did is he opened a Pandora's box. That's a very bad thing and a very dangerous thing for our country.
Yeah.
The Biden administration is running on the fumes of the great success of the.
Oh, fuck you. So, okay, we've been in a recession. We're in hell. We're on the brink of hell economically. And we already went through terrible, terrible inflation. Inflation's coming down now, but now we're running on the fumes of the Trump administration. Now we are. The fumes, hell, they laid low through I guess the fumes just weren't buoyant enough. They were low-level fumes. They didn't fill out the balloon of the economy the way they were supposed to, you know. And so the fumes just kind of waited until the inflation was over, and then they kicked in, right? Yeah. Fumes. Yeah. There's it. Live Trump fumes.
Trump administration. Without us, this thing would have crashed to levels never seen before. And if we're not.
Also, well, first of all, you do realize the crash that happened, you know, in the 20s, people have seen footage of it, pictures of it, and we wouldn't even be anywhere near that, even if we had an equal crash, because of the structures in place today that weren't in place then.
Elected, we'll have a depression the likes of which I don't believe anybody has ever seen. Maybe 1929. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen, but it's going to wait until next year. So
we're running.
Probably, it's actually going to wait until 2025. He's like, if we're not elected, we're going to have a depression, the likes of which no one's ever seen before. But it's going to wait until 2025.
On fumes, with your vote by Christmas, and we're going to have it by.
Wait, you can't vote by Christmas. They vote after. It's in January.
Christmas 2024. That's just shortly after the election, because of the momentum.
Oh, because of the momentum right after. Yes.
Of our victory, we will have a U.S. economy roaring back.
A what? A U.S. economy? Okay. This is the other thing. So everybody on Wall Street has been talking about how the soft landing worked, Bidenomics kicking ass, other countries are now parroting our plan, and that by 2025, in 2020, end of 2024, beginning of 2025, they're expecting the NASDAQ to hit an all-time high, just like the stock market just did, and for oil prices to continue to go down. Because the people who are holding back production in the OPEC plus countries can't do it for very long. So they will, somewhere around June, they're going to have to start producing again, or they're going to screw themselves. You can only do that temporarily. That's not a permanent fix.
To have it by Christmas 2024. That's just shortly after the election, because of the momentum of our victory. We will have a U.S. economy roaring back, and in 2025 we'll.
Well, by the way, again, so if the U.S. economy is roaring back in January of 2025, the new president doesn't even get sworn in till the 21st.
We'll have one of the greatest economic years this nation has ever recorded.
We're going to anyways. That's why he wants back in. That's why a lot of them want back in, because they know we're on an upswing. And again, all this shit about Biden should just go to the beach and stay there. This motherfucker knows that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to phone in everything and leave shit alone.
Okay.
And just spend most of his time going after his political enemies. That's his plan.
People from all over the world will stop coming to the border, because they will know that just like 3 years ago, only 3 years ago.
During COVID, you mean? When COVID was everywhere? During COVID?
We were energy independent. We had strong borders. We had everything going.
Except that old, pandemic thing. People were going, they couldn't go anywhere. They were staying home. We had all this oil and gas, but we didn't have anywhere to go with it.
But they're not going to come because they won't be able to get through. 3 years ago, we had the strongest border we've ever had. Today,
because no one was coming.
We have probably the worst border anywhere in the world, let alone in our country's history.
Also, nonsense. Can I just, real quick, I know that I don't want to add more time with this fuckhead than we have to, but hold on. Real quick. So, let's see. Back up. Yeah, here it is. Trying to find this. Yeah, here it is. There we go. This the Afghan border. I just want to show you what's happening at the Afghan border real quick. Afghanistan-Pakistan border dispute. Oh, this is older. Hold on one second. Let me go to the newer one because this is here. Let's see. Why does this jump over? It's so aggravating. Here you go. Go back here. Stop it. I don't want the pictures, stupid. I want the actual article. There you go. I don't know why this jumps around. Yeah, here you go. Pakistan fortifies border with Afghanistan to reduce cross-border attacks. So there's literally violent attacks happening between Afghanistan and Pakistan right now. There were a bunch of Afghanis that fled to Pakistan after the Taliban took over, and some of them are trying to go back because there's a forced deportation going on in Pakistan right now, and they have their little fence and this little guide here or whatever, looking at nothing. Fucking looking at nothing. But here you go. Let's see. United States President recently reiterated. That's the long one too. Hold on, back up. That's the 2017 one. Hold on. I want new stuff. Give me 1 second, and I will find the art. Why is this thing scrolling? Let's do the news. Yeah, wait, hold on. Pakistan, because there was a story about it just this morning. There's one. Hold on. And then let's see. Yeah, at least 23 soldiers killed in an attack in Pakistan. And then this is the Reuters one. Okay, so this is a lot closer. Here you go. This is a Stars and Stripes article, so you guys will dig this. Hold on one second. Go back to here. Suicide attacker used 264 pounds of explosives to target a police station in Pakistan, killing 23 people. This is over the border dispute between the idea that Afghans have been ordered to leave. They've been given a deportation order. Attack on Pakistani security post near Afghanistan kills 23 soldiers. Tensions have been rising between Pakistan and Afghanistan when the violence in the border area has increased since Pakistan directed all undocumented foreigners to leave the country. This is what's happening. They just handed out a big deportation order. Main Pakistan-Afghan border crossing closed for second day after clashes. Yeah, there you go. Let's see if there's another picture in this. I don't know why they're not coming up, or they'll take a moment. But yeah, anyways, that border is way fucking worse on all fronts. This guy, like, again, just even, you could even relate it to that. You know what I mean? How I think you should keep back in the blue for a future election. Well, yeah, I agree. I'm going to. But anyways, you could go, this is worse than the Pakistan-Afghanistan border. Like, you know what I mean? You could make a relation. If you knew what the fuck you were talking about, you could draw parallels, even if they don't exist, to try and dirty up the, you know what I mean? And then people would go, oh, fuck. And they would look into it and go, yeah, it totally is.
Together we're going to bring
even though it's not.
Our country back from hell.
Well, we are in hell, obviously.
Not one thing, if you think about it, has gotten better under crooked Joe Biden. What? Name one thing.
Unemployment, wages, union contracts, infrastructure, airports, manufacturing in the United States, chip manufacturing in the United States. I mean, the extraction of lead pipes across the entire fucking country would be a major thing. Again, unemployment's at 3.7. It's the stock market's at 37,000. The NASDAQ's supposed to reach a new record. Insulin is cheaper now. Residential broadband or rural broadband,
where we're doing well.
Yeah, and by the way, everybody at this fucking thing was at a football game last weekend. Everybody there was eating a big fucking pretzel and shouting for a team and all this kind of stuff. And this motherfucker wants us to go back to when he was running things, when COVID was rampaging across the goddamn country. And he was like, the sunshine will get rid of it. Fucking.
We're not respected. The world is laughing at us.
Well, they're laughing at you.
Under the Trump administration, you were better off. Your family was better off. Your neighbors were better off. Our country was better off. America was stronger, richer, safer, and more confident.
Technically, no.
Then
we were literally in a pandemic, locked down with no vaccine, and you came up with Warp Speed, Operation Warp Speed, or as I like to call it, Operation Fart Steed, to convince people that we were, this vaccine that you're scared of taking, we rushed it. That's the message most of his dickhead supporters got from Operation Fart Steed.
Never before, I would say, and we had the best economy in history.
Nonsense.
And when you had me behind the desk of the Oval Office, people did respect us. Other nations respected us to a level I don't think maybe we've ever been respected.
Again, goofy bullshit. I mean, he has seen maybe this is his reaction. This has to be. This is his reaction to the footage of Trudeau and others laughing at him and talking about him at parties. Like or the picture of like the rest of the world trying to convince him that that his fuck up's gonna get people killed at these international meetings. The multitude of pictures of people, or the one time he walked off the stage when he shook somebody's hand and then he fucked off and he was supposed to stay there, that kind of stuff, right?
Like that. But just think of it. Were you better off 4 years ago, or are you better off today?
Today, obviously. We're not in the middle of a lockdown. We're not, businesses have come back. People are going to concerts, for fuck's sake. They're not, right now, they're talking about, the biggest story in town where I am is not, oh shit, I hope the people that are delivering food don't get sick. Then what? We're now talking about whether the Sphere will become, here in Las Vegas, will become profitable in 10 years or 15. That's the conversation.
Yeah. Not even close. That's an interesting question. That's a question I'm going to be able to ask a lot. What a difference the president.
Yeah, keep asking it, shithead.
President makes, and it does make a big difference. Since Joe Biden took over, we've had a 3-year inflation rate of over 20%.
No, we haven't.
Gasoline prices are now $5, $6, $7, and even $8 a gallon. By contrast,
by the way, he's in Iowa. Hold on. Shall we give it a look? Gas prices, Coralville, Iowa. Yeah? Is that what it is? Coralville, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, here's this. You guys want to see it? This is the gas prices in the town he's currently speaking in. $2.59, $2.84, $2.84, $2.84, $2.84, $2.84, $2.85. The come and go is your best bet. And I don't, I guess they don't have it listed up there. Costco gas is $2.59. Most of the people who are there in his audience, Costco members, I'm going to say that in general, a bunch of them are wearing Kirkland shirts. I have no fucking doubt about that whatsoever. Casey's and the come and go, I got to say, $2.84 a gallon at the come and go. And I have let's see, do I have my, shit, I know I have a come and go hat around here somewhere, because when you're touring the Midwest, if you're in a band and you don't end up buying a come and go hat, at some point, there's something wrong with you. Comedians will do it. There's no excuse. But bands, every band member that tours the Midwest has to get a fucking come and go shirt. Yeah, absolutely. It's like having Dick's Sporting Goods when it was regional to the Chicagoland area. They used to have one of those membership cards. It was the insider card. That's right. You could get, wait for it, a Dick's Insider card. And I have one somewhere. My buddy Tom and I drove out to the Dick's Sporting Goods out like fucking Gurney or wherever the fuck it was, to go to this one and sign up for the Dick's Insider card. So we both got one, and we're just walking out of this like high school laughing our asses off with this fucking, and wearing our come and go hats with our Dick's Insider card. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. We're in hell. I forgot we were in hell. My bad. Yes, I'm dead serious. Dick's Sporting Goods, when it was before it was a national chain, had a card you could get It was a frequent member card. It was called a Dick's Insider membership card, right?
Under the Trump leadership, my leadership, inflation was non-existent.
Right. We were in nearly deflation because everyone's economy was taking a shit.
And we had gasoline down to $1.87 a gallon. Doesn't that sound beautiful? Beautiful.
No, it's it means everything has crashed, stupid. It means that to get those prices down to 184, either nobody's using gas anymore because there is no business, or everybody's shifted to electric.
And we'll do it again. Drill, 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 right? We'll do it again.
Drill, drill, drill. It's drill, baby, drill, fuckwad. Drill, drill, drill. Fucking rolls right off the tongue. We'll do it again. Drill, drill, drill. Just say drill, drill, drill. Also, hey, maybe I should check. What's, let's see, U.S. oil production. I wonder how it is. I'm sure it's way down because Biden, came in. He just fucking killed, everything, right? Yeah, let's see. That's terrible news. I can't believe it. Oh shit. U.S. oil production will keep booming in 2024, setting up a possible showdown with Saudi Arabia. Yikes. U.S. oil production is expected to keep booming in 2024, possibly hitting a fresh high of 13.3 million barrels a day. That comes as ExxonMobil and Chevron are boosting their capital expenditure budgets for 2024. More U.S. supply could further put pressure on Saudi Arabia to regain control over crude prices, meaning they're hoping they lower production even more and drive prices up. U.S. oil production is having a blockbuster year. Oh. No? You don't say. You didn't say. U.S. oil production is having a what? A what? Blockbuster year. And 2024 could see fresh highs, putting more pressure on Saudi Arabia to regain control over crude prices. Fuck them. I don't care. Analysts at Rapidan Energy estimate U.S. output will average 13.3 million barrels a day next year, up from 2023's average of 13 million and above the current all-time record of 13.2 million reached in September. That's right. The record for the highest amount of output in America ever of oil was hit in September. September. Highest ever. More American oil production in September than at any time in history, and next year it will be the standard. Also, what is it? The average was 13. Yeah. In 2023, the average was 13. Let's see. Do we bother to look up oil production in 2019, giving Trump a fucking break before the collapse? Yeah. Thanks, Obama.
After 3 years of Bidenomics,
we have the highest oil output of our ever in history.
30-year mortgage rate hit a high. It's got the 22-year high, highest it's been in
since 2003, or since I guess 2001. Yeah,
many years. Think of
many. He just realized that 23 years doesn't sound like a long time.
This 22 years, but I believe you can go back because you can't get any money at 9%, 10%, 11%.
14%, 35%, 60%. I mean, just keep saying, tell you what, just keep upping the number until everybody goes, oh, like that. Am I growing a mustache? No, I am not growing a mustache. I wouldn't even think of growing a mustache. All right. Hey, I understand you ladies have a little problem with your plumbing. If you want, I can get the snake out and see what I can do. All right. Anyways.
You can't get the money even if you want.
Yeah, you can't. You can't.
To pay the interest. The average monthly mortgage payment has gone from $1,700 under my administration to $3,400 under Crooked Joe.
Because people bought bigger houses and started working from home.
That's a slight difference, isn't it? How when I was your...
Yes, people are buying bigger, more expensive houses. There have been lots more houses built.
President, you had a 30-year mortgage rate actually hit an all-time low, the lowest it's ever been, about
Right.
2.6.
But the house prices went up.
I think 2.6%, think of it. And now it's, you can't get the money. It doesn't
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can't get the money. Again, this is his complaint.
matter what it is. It's anything, because you can't get the money. The banks don't want to give you the money today.
They don't. They just don't want to give you. Did they used to give you the money? Is that how it works? Did they used to? By the way, for the record, anybody who's watching who's a huge Donald Trump fan, I would like you to know that he sued Deutsche Bank when he was late on his loans and ultimately settled where they forgave $230 million of his loans because he found somebody to backstop the failure of the building and come in with other money. So they let him go for the 230 because he got another investor to come in and put it up. So he just got to own the stake in the building, but have somebody else's money in there. Do you think that money was from America? Do you really think in any way that money is from America? Because can you think of any other American real estate investor that wouldn't want their stake in the building directly?
A $2,000 monthly mortgage payment gets you a house worth less than $295,000. Under the Trump administration, the same number would get you a house that today would be worth $460,000. That's a big difference.
Right, except the houses have gone up because people who previously had those houses, house prices have gone up. Also, by the way, they're going to start cutting rates next year, and even the hikes that they put in didn't break the fucking bank, and now they're going to start bringing them down. It's going to be a bum rush into the stock market and real estate. Like, people are going to, every time they drop a fucking quarter basis point, it's just going to be fucking nuts. It's going to be like a casino floor.
Long as crooked Joe Biden is in the White House, the American dream is dead. It's
if you might think you're meeting your goals and having a good life. You're not, okay? You're not, okay? Oh, thanks, Cosmic Rose. I can see the chat that you put in the window, and I'm able to actually talk directly to you guys, which is really fantastic for me.
It's dead. You don't hear about the American dream anymore.
No, you don't. You don't. People are too busy living it, I think. Can I just say something real quick about the American dream? Taylor Swift tickets are, in some cases, $1,000 a piece. $1,000 a piece. Not with backstage, like with a VIP package. It's just $1,000. And people are buying them 4 at a time. Her shows are selling out in 35,000, 55,000 seat stadiums, and the tickets are fucking... Are you fucking nuts?
People want to survive.
They do. They just try to... We're all just trying to survive.
But all of that will change the minute the polls close on election night 20.
Right. It'll change that night because it'll just be me talking about it. Nothing materially would have changed, but I'll just assume that because I won, anything that good happens after the night I won obviously is my doing, even if no policies are carried out at all.
24. We're going to have something that's going to be very, very special.
Very special, very special. It's going to be a thing where it's magic economics. I don't even have to be in office doing any policies at all. There's no lag time. The second I'm elected, people... like foreign money is going to come flooding back in, buying everyone's property again.
Very special.
Very special. Very special.
Bigger and better and stronger than ever before. You watch. And it's going to go quickly. It's going to go very quickly.
Why? How? What? How? How's it going to go quickly? What do you mean quickly? What are you going to do? What's the big economic change? What are you going to do? Drive around the country and make everybody pull a you're just going to seize people's gold or some shit?
And we have to close up those borders immediately, don't we?
Yes, because we want to... The most important thing, I think, after the next election is to kill the entire economy of Texas. Lock the border up, and that's the end of Texas. And then we don't have to worry about them anymore. Then they have to make business... all the people in Texas will have to make money working with other Americans, instead of in oil and gas and shipping and in product shipping in from Mexico. You shut that down, then they have to start acting nice because they need the rest of us. Weird.
People are coming in from prisons and mental institutions. They're terrorists, many cases.
Yeah, most of them, especially the kids.
The next economic boom will begin the instant the world knows that crooked Joe Biden is gone and Donald J. Trump has won 4 more years as president of the United States. America will be...
I mean, literally, he's saying this on the day the stock market just broke a record.
Far better off with Trump, just like we were 3 years ago when everything, it just worked. It all worked.
It all worked. We all stayed home. Food was delivered. We all just waited to die, maybe.
Worked. Everything was working. The whole world respected us.
Yes, they were like, wow, I'm very impressed by your COVID death rate.
Together, we will once again fight for Iowa families and Iowa farmers like no one has ever fought before. Nobody has ever been stronger for farmers than Donald Trump.
And by the way, he thinks that's because he fucked up their entire economic system with China being one of their biggest buyers. And then he just basically worked out a deal with China where they would devalue their currency, pay him a bunch of money through these tariffs or whatever, so he could buy voters in the Midwest.
DeSantis doesn't even like farmers.
Yeah, he hates them. Fucking hate. He said so. Didn't Ron DeSantis? He's been walking around going. He's in that fuck farmer shirt, right?
He doesn't like farmers.
What the fuck does that even mean? I don't even like Ron DeSantis. This is just dumb.
I said that's not good. He doesn't want to get that word out. No.
He doesn't want to get that word out. Really, he hates them, but he doesn't want them to know. But you're going to let people know that he hates them? Get the fuck out of here.
He doesn't like farmers. He fought the farm bills. He fought everything.
He fought the farm bill and everything. That's because welfare is a part of the farm bill. Like part of the like the undergirding of the farm bill is like government cheese and subsidized foods and all this kind of stuff, which Republicans used to hate farm subsidies, period. And they used to fight them until they got caught shit from their fellow Republicans in red states.
I did just the opposite. I got them through. And
the problem you created.
I'll mention it a little bit later because
oh God,
as we talk about it, I got you $28 billion, the farmers, $28 billion from China. How many people do you think would get $28 billion from China?
Hunter Biden. How about that?
But I got to not get, because Bobby told me, be very careful, sir. You're getting a little bit cocky with the $28 billion. I said, no. We're going to win Iowa by a lot because I got him $28 billion. Who else?
I bought these votes. You don't understand. I bought these votes. I created the problem, and then I realized I was fucked with the farmers if I didn't solve it, and I couldn't solve it, so I decided to use tariff money and just divert it to them as bailouts so that I could buy back their votes because my policy ate ass.
Biden was sleeping, and you know what I was doing? I was tossing and turning, thinking about how I get you that money while he was...
Right, because it was your fucking problem.
Sleeping.
What do you mean while he was sleeping? He was out of government, you dumbass. It was your problem.
He was sleeping like a little dove, unlike...
What? Oh, yeah, well, he must. I don't doubt it that Biden is a man of fairly clear conscience and sleeps very well. You, on the other hand, are a fucking sweaty mess who turns pillows orange.
Crooked Joe, who wants to dramatically increase the estate tax or...
I don't know why sleeping like a little dove is like lately he's been on this whole like falling like a sick bird. It's just odd.
The death tax, I virtually eliminated the unfair death tax. I eliminated it from small business and farms. So that,
farms.
But instead of...
No, they didn't.
If you love your children. Now, if you don't love your children, then it doesn't matter. If you want to leave, does anybody not love their children? Please raise your hand. There's one guy raised his hand. Sir, would you please come up? Let's talk about it. That's fun.
Yeah, because there's one person there that Trump can relate to. There's a guy out there that says he doesn't want to leave his shit to his kids. There's the one guy in here who gets me. He gets me. You hate your kids too? Fucking A. I've discovered I could have a friend.
I'm sorry. I think he was kidding. I'm not sure. No, I don't think he is kidding, actually. No, but, you know, you were, as you know, before.
You were in that problem that I created.
For me, they were going out and they were borrowing money and mortgaging the farm to pay the estate tax, or the death tax, as we call it. And now you don't have that anymore. You can leave it to your children if you love them. If you don't love them, just forget what I said and let's think about something else.
It's such an odd thing to bring up, too.
But that's a big deal because they were losing their farms. You would pass away, you love your children, you'd leave it, they'd go out and mortgage the farm to pay the tax, and they'd lose the farm in many cases. But Brenna...
Yeah, this is all during the It's a Wonderful Life phase in his head.
Bird would come along and she'd save them, your attorney general. She'd say, we're not going to do this to them. We're not going to do it. Right, Brenna? She did. She actually fought for a lot of families who were put out of business by the estate tax, but now they're not because we got that ended. I ended the NAFTA disaster, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with the brand new USMCA, the best,
which was 80% of NAFTA and changes people had thought would be needed in the entire existence of NAFTA.
Trade deal ever made. Actually, the deal I made with China might be better, but after COVID...
Oh, no, it wasn't.
I don't even talk about it. But they buy $50 billion worth of
no, they don't.
Product from the farmers and manufacturers.
No, they do not.
But mostly from the farmers.
Nope.
Billion. Think of that. $50 billion.
Nope.
Worth, but I don't even talk about it.
Because it's a lie?
It was probably the greatest trade deal ever made. I thought they said 15. I said, what's the number we want? Sir, 15 billion. I thought they said 50 billion. Maybe the hearing's not quite as good. I said, all right, you better get 50 billion. So I'm talking to him the next day. How you doing? Sir, we're getting close. We're at 14. But I said, I don't want 14. What do you do? I want 50. And they got 50. We got 50.
No, he didn't. The first fucking phase of that is 30 billion, and they only did a third of it, which they desperately need because China imports 85% of their fucking food. I don't even know, let me tell you something. The only people that are applauding in that room aren't farmers. Because the farmers in that room know he's full of shit. You know why? Because they sell their shit at market.
That was an amazing deal. But I don't talk about it too much. The deal was so good, in fact, that what we did with USMCA, it was unbelievable.
Okay, so the China deal wasn't as good. He's back to the other talking point.
The deal with USMCA, it's Canada, Mexico. It's so good that they're trying to renegotiate it. They've gone back to Crooked Joe, and if they give him enough money, I'm sure they'll do it. For him. Did you see Hunter today, right? He went to the wrong place. He went to the Senate instead of the House. Everyone's saying, where's Hunter? See, it always gets, where's Hunter?
Jesus Christ. Try harder.
What a two-tier system of justice we have.
Yes, it's totally a two-tiered justice system that we have.
I took on the Communist China group of very, very tough people.
The Communist China group of very tough people. We know who those people are, right? There's a list, right?
Like no administration in history bringing...
Yeah. No administration in history dealt with the China communist group of people.
In hundreds of billions of dollars pouring into our treasury. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars when no other president ever got us even 10 cents.
Again, he keeps saying this. I think somebody in his cabinet to get something through told him this. I don't know where he gets this, because Obama had aluminum tariffs and all that. It's just ridiculous.
Didn't even ask for it. Got hundreds of billions, and that's when I gave the $28 billion straight out of the tariffs I took from China, and I gave them to large portions of your great state. You were the biggest recipient, large portions.
No, they weren't. Iowa wasn't the biggest recipient, you fuck.
That's why when I get a little carried away, I said, there's no way.
I'm fairly certain it was it might have been Kansas or Missouri.
There's no way they're voting against me. Our great punter, I will tell you, there's no way. Are you from this state? Sorry? You're from this state?
No, I'm from Australia.
Oh, he's from...
No, I'm from Australia.
Australia. Well, we'll adopt him.
You met him before you went on stage. It wasn't a kind of a clue that he didn't sound like he was from Iowa. Maybe you just certainly, maybe that's the only, maybe you think this is some sort of like Iowa dialect.
He said hello to me before, and I said, this doesn't sound too much like Iowa, but we'll take him. He is perfect.
Right, see what I mean? He didn't just say hello, you spoke, and you forgot.
Central casting. He's gonna be a great.
Yeah, central casting for Crocodile fucking Dundee.
Great one. No one
Central casting
gets abused on trade worse than American agriculture, as everybody in the room knows, yet no other president lifted
bullshit
a finger to help the growers, the farmers, the people that do what so many in this audience do.
What do they do? The growers, the farmers. What do they do? Do they grow things or farm stuff? What do they do?
Leadership. We have a great
they do like seed stuff.
Rebirth of loyalty to the American farmer and to the American flag, because we've lost a lot of loyalty. Remember what I did with the NFL when they had a little bit of a sit-down problem?
A sit-down problem.
And they were sitting down. We didn't like.
They were kneeling. They weren't sitting down.
Like that. I'll go around.
He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
The world, and I'll put every other country on notice. If you try and abuse our farmers, you will pay a very, very steep price, like China did. They paid a very big price. To that end, I will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. You know what that is? That's if China or any other country, which they do, and we were all set to do it, and then we got hit with the China virus, but we were all set to do it. But if any of them make us pay 100 or 200% tariff, which some do, not only China, we'll make them pay the reciprocal tariff, likewise 100 or 200% right back. So.
Right, yeah, that happens all the time. That's great. Also, I guess we'll just drive up the costs of everything that we get from overseas, and everyone else will just stop buying shit from the United States because it's too goddamn expensive. Even though 100% in terms of the cost of the stuff they're selling is nowhere near 100% of the cost of the stuff that we're selling.
So if they're selling us cars or any product,
if Canadian dairy is going to have a 100% tariff on it so that we can kill their dairy industry, because was like 4 counties in Wisconsin alone could wipe out their entire industry in Canada, but whatever.
And they put on the big tariff, which a lot of them did. We cut a lot of them out. We knocked the hell out of them. We cut a lot of them out. But if they do that, we'll say, that's okay. You can keep doing it, but we're going to do the same thing to your product. Even if it's not the same product, we're going to do the same thing. It's called reciprocal trade. They do it to us. We do it to them. It's really simple. We'll take it.
It's too simple. That's why it's stupid.
Fortunes of money, or they'll drop the tax and we'll drop the tax and we're all even. I will revoke China's most favored nation status, their trade status. They say, but we are a growing nation. Well, we're a growing nation.
Developing nation. It's not growing, dumbass. It's a specific category. It's a developing nation. And this whole like, well, we're a developing nation too, or we're a growing nation too. Fuck off. That's not the same thing. All you have to say is, China's not a developing nation because they have a space program. No country with a space program is a developing nation. Once you've started to put together a space program, or you have a military that big, you're no longer developing. It's your ass. Get your shit together. We'll go help somebody else.
Nations too. Just take a look at our cities run by Democrats.
You mean the ones with all the that pay all the taxes and make all the money, and where all the conversation, coffee, and sex is happening, as Dylan Moran would say?
I consider it worse than a growing. They have to start from a negative position with all the crime and all the horror being caused. The horror. In our cities, it's horrible.
It's horrible. That's why he's glad to be. That's why he's going back to Iowa so much, because it's safe out in the sticks. I mean, unless you get in the wrong van, I guess.
You don't have that here. You don't have.
Yeah, you don't have crime here, and by crime I mean black people. Let's be honest. You don't have that here. I could tell everyone here is white for the most part, and yeah, it's good.
Have that.
And if there are black people, there's so few of them, you can keep an eye on them. What do you do? Just assign people in packs, or how's that work?
In other parts.
Tell me about it, Iowa.
Of our countries, but when you have these Democrat-run cities, they are a horror show. Will
horror.
Impose stiff penalties on China and other trade abusers because they abuse us on trade.
Oh, I see. So trade abusers abuse us on trade. Is that what you're saying? It's hard to make out. I mean, This makes so little sense already.
At the same time, I'll end Joe Biden's war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill.
We're already at the highest production we've ever had.
We're going to get your energy prices down so low
that you're not going to want an electric car, and you'll want to run the windmills on gasoline.
And that's going to knock the hell out of the inflation. Don't forget, you're already up really close to 30% over the period of 3 years. Think of it, 30%.
Yeah, eggs are up 30% of what they were. You can't buy eggs anymore. Yeah, you can get one egg and then you just have to save it. You eat part of it and then put it in the fridge, and you can't even cook it. If you cook it, that loses some of it. You can't afford to. So
we're going to get them. So we're going to start chopping the hell out of that 30% number. We're going to get them down so low. And you know what's going to follow? Interest rates are going to follow, because inflation is going to be ended. And
just ended. Right. We'll enter deflation because nobody will buy American products because they're too expensive overseas.
We're going to get your costs so low, your energy costs so low. Think of it.
That oil stocks won't be worth a shit. You're gonna let your oil buddies are gonna let you do that, you think?
$1.87, and we had times when it was even lower than that.
You mean when no one was driving? Worldwide.
But what a difference that makes from $4, $5, $6, $7.
And yet, it's so weird. Traffic is off the fucking hook. Huh. Obviously, if gas prices are, with gas prices this high, you'd think nobody's driving anywhere.
$8 some places in California is part of our common sense.
Oh, by the way, hold on. Is it? Yeah, hold on. What's up? Get out of here. Now, don't want to. Yeah, Story claims there's a gas station in California. That is true. But yeah, here you go. There you go. A story you may have heard claims of: there's a gas station in California charging more than $7 a gallon. Sadly, it's true. This is October 21st, 2021. The only gas station in the remote Central Coast community of Gorda is selling regular gas, regular unleaded, for $7.59 a gallon. Jesus Christ, it's terrible. Premium is almost $8.50. The town is known for having some of the highest prices in the country. In July of 2019, and I have no idea who was president during that time, they charged $11.75 for a single gallon of gas. That's right. The highest price of gas in that station's history, even post-COVID, was during Trump. But please, go on, you sad, farty little man.
Energy policies, and that's really what it is. It's not that we're conservative or we're anything.
Yeah, you're not anything.
It's that we have common sense, whether it's borders or energy or taxes or anything else.
Yeah, or anything else.
But I'll once again stand up for Iowa ethanol. And just as I promised, and I promised this, I issued a historic rule declaring that E15 would be made available all year round, and I got it done. Nobody thought it would happen. I even...
That's because it's not a good idea.
Got something else done. I'll tell you very quickly, because it's a lot of money, but it's a little boring to the average person.
Well, here, fire it up.
The audience, I got them to use the existing pumps. Does anyone know what that means? They had very good pumps, but they had to make minor changes, and they...
Minor changes, do they? They have to make minor changes?
They said, no, we want all new pumps, meaning government said that. The federal government said that. I said, what's the difference? They said the old pumps are better. A lot of times that's true. Old equipment is better than new equipment. It's made better.
What?
And I got them to leave it, saving hundreds of millions of dollars for people.
Wait, the government wanted old pumps?
Here, and saving you a lot of cost.
A lot of what? Saving you a lot of clock? A lot of caulk? A lot of cock? What's it saving you? A lot of clock?
Better than new equipment. It's made better. And I got them to leave it, saving hundreds of millions of dollars for people here and saving you a lot of cost.
A lot of clock. They did. They saved a lot of claw.
It's a little bit boring to say that, but
Yeah.
might as well get it out, right?
It's also nonsense.
I'll get it out. In contrast to my unwavering support for Iowa ethanol and agriculture, Ron DeSanctimonious wants to bankrupt the Iowa farmers. He does. He was totally against anything having to do with ethanol. And now all of a sudden he's a big ethanol proponent. But one thing about
Yeah. Before anybody asked him, he was against it. And then they asked him and he was for it. We don't know how he was against it before we asked him, but we'll just assume.
politicians, when they start that way, that's the way they end. They change for elections, but then they immediately go back. I've seen that plenty.
Yeah, you mean like when they say they'll like not sexually assault or degrade women and then they go right back to doing it?
DeSantis spent his entire political career vindictively trying to kill the ethanol industry, voting again and again to devastate Iowa families by eliminating the billions and billions of dollars.
Okay. Every time they vote, they go through this process of like extending the ethanol rules for a short time for economic reasons. They have to have another vote to turn it off. And that's what they're, or limiting it, saying this will last for another month. So technically, by voting to extend it a month, you also voted for the end date. That's what he's talking about. Fucking stupid.
Generated each year from ethanol and wiping out about 48,000 jobs. So he was totally opposed to ethanol. You have to go back and look at the old clips.
Yeah, go back and look at the old clips. You know, you should just play them on your fucking Truth Social channel.
You know who he loved?
Who'd he love?
Do you know who he loved? Fauci. Well, he loved me too. Yeah, I got him elected. So he loved me because I got him elected. He loved me. And yeah.
Wait a minute. He's got transactional friendships and relationships. That's fucking weird. And you guys, would you guys break up?
I did. Then 4 years later, they said, will
are you running? And he's like, no comment. That means he's ready.
you vote? Will you vote or will you run against President Trump?
Will you vote or will you run against any of them? Vote, run, vote.
And he said, I have no comment. They said, no comment. You know what that means, no comment. No comment means he's going to run. And I said, this guy's going to run. No, he was so far down that George Washington, if George Washington...
This is during his governor's race that George Washington came back
from the dead. He couldn't have helped him.
Yeah, but that would be because if George Washington came back from the dead, he would be having a panic attack at the world around him because he wouldn't understand anything. And then, of course, he would be getting his, getting veneers or dental implants.
Maybe Lincoln and Washington together, but I doubt it. No, he was dead. He was gone, and I helped him, and I got him in. Then I got him past the general election. I got him past both of them. And then 4 years later, they said, will you run against the president? He said, I have no comment. I said, no comment. That means, Brenna, that means you're going to run to me.
He just said that. You're just saying this on a fucking loop. We get it.
And a lot of my people said, sir, don't attack him. He's a Republican. I said, no, thanks. I don't need your advice.
Then why did you hire them? This is what he says to his advisors.
And my highly paid consultant. And speaking of that, I got your governor elected too, by the way.
Did you hear the booing?
Isn't that terrible? Isn't that terrible? I took Terry Branstad, great governor, 24 years, set a record, moved him to China as the ambassador.
Yeah, you did? You moved him to China, did you?
Ambassador did a great job.
He did a great job with the deal that never happened.
He knew because he was selling corn many, many years ago, and she was a buyer. I mean, they actually knew each other. I said, what a perfect fit that would be. So I moved him. I said, Terry, you've been there. You set a record. Good guy. And she was a lieutenant governor, so she took over. But then she was losing badly to a very rich, they say good looking, but that's not my thing, farmer, a rich and good looking farmer. And she was losing badly, and she called, would you endorse me and would you campaign for me? Would you do a rally, a big, beautiful rally? I did it, and she ended up winning the election.
It's always the same fucking story. So this guy picks people, throws a big rally, they win because of his endorsement, and then they turn on him. It ever occur to you you're just a shit judge of character?
And then she said she was going to be neutral on this election.
Also, birds of a feather flock together. So is it any surprise that you are surrounded by disloyal assholes who are completely transactional in everything that they do? Of course she did that. She's your kind of candidate. Your kind of candidate is just like you.
I said, well, I'd like to be neutral also, but that's not the way life works, you know. So I said, don't come around to any of our rallies. I don't want you. And that's the story.
Right. So when she said she doesn't want to, she's not going to go to the rallies, he's like, don't come to the rallies. And she was like, okay, I wasn't going to come to the rallies because I'm not endorsing you. And like, well, fine. I didn't want you there anyways. And she's like, fine. And then he realized there was no one on the other end of the line, and he was wearing a hospital gown.
And then she...
Her or Xi Jinping?
Endorsed somebody that has no chance of winning. He has no chance of winning. But she did that, and I don't blame her, you know, because I didn't want much to do with her.
Right. I only got her elected, and then after that, I'm like, fuck it. It's kind of like, it's how I feel about, like, conquests. Any woman who would fuck me is obviously disgusting. Therefore, I don't want to have anything to do with them because, I mean, if you met a woman who would sleep with Trump, obviously she's a pig.
But she endorsed somebody that has no chance. So think of this. So she goes out and she endorses, and she was one of the most popular governors in the nation, and now she's proudly the least popular governor in the entire nation. Did you see that? I couldn't believe it. But anyway, well, that's the way it is, you know.
By the way, I'd like to thank Donald Trump for handing us the Iowa governorship.
We love loyalty in life, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Like loyalty to...
Like loyalty, transactional loyalty, obviously. You buy these people's things. They're not loyal to you because they believe in you.
Everything. If DeSantis had his way, the economy of your state would be blown to shreds, and there really wouldn't be, because...
They would shred it. It would be shredded. It'd be like shredded like cheese, which is like Wisconsin.
He would be against ethanol. He will be against ethanol, if anything.
He will be. He wasn't. He's not now, but he might be. And he was before you ever heard of me bringing it up. And now he's against it, you know, in his head while he's for it. His lips say yes, but his body says no.
I think ever happened, like a minor miracle. I would call it a major miracle. Unlike just...
Look at that. Thanks for becoming members, by the way. Look at these lovely thank yous. And Petrazio, I'm going to go with Petrazi20. Thank you so much for the super chat. Very lovely. Look at that. Thank you, guys. Hug. All right.
Sanctus, I will be your ethanol champion for 4 more years, and I'll be a...
I will be your ethanol champion.
Farmer's champion and a manufacturer's. You know, you're a big man.
I'll be the champion of everything. I am the champion, my friends. And you'll keep on fighting for my ends. I am the champion. You aren't the champions. I am. You are the losers, but I am the champion of Iowa.
Manufacturing state. A lot of people don't talk about it, but we're going to be
Nobody talks about manufacturing anymore. It's old news.
Everything for your state.
Yeah, you're going to bring manufacturing to Iowa. That's the thing. That's what they've been waiting for.
I'll also rescue the ethanol industry.
For, you know, because they're going to take chip manufacturing, bring it to Iowa corn
chips.
You're done.
From
Bring a Frito plant there. Fucking A.
Joe's insane.
I know, Oliver Brown. I got 60,000 subscribers. Look at that. And you too could help us get to 100,000. So 100,000 subscribers is our big goal, and 1,000 patrons. We're about 3/4 of the way there, almost. So think about it. Ha! Thank you very much.
Ethanol killing pro-China electric vehicle mandate. Is that the dumbest thing you've ever heard?
Well, it certainly doesn't help people who are selling ethanol, I guess.
I want an electric car so I can go to the candy store, but it doesn't go much further. They don't go far.
Is that the story you're going to tell? Range anxiety? We're going with that?
You know?
By the way, why don't you just come out and just say Elon Musk is a fucking idiot and a liar?
Sometimes a simple phrase is the best. Here's the problem. They don't go far.
How far is far?
It costs too much money also. And they're going to all be built in China, by the way. I want to tell
No, they're not.
that to the United Auto Workers who are going to be voting for me by the hundreds of thousands. I will repeal that left-wing lunacy on day one. The whole thing with that Green New Deal, what a disgrace.
It's not the Green New Deal is a It's like a trademark phrase. It's not an actual bill.
Destruction, horrible. Right.
It's a destruction, horrible. Glitch. Is that glitch? What are you saying?
Hundreds of thousands. I will repeal that left-wing lunacy on day one. The whole thing with that Green New Deal. What a disgrace. It's a destruction, horrible. Right.
It's a destruction, horrible glitch. Glick. It's a phooey and tooey. I think he meant to say disgusting and then bailed on it and said destruction.
I will repeal that left-wing lunacy on day one. The whole thing with that Green New Deal. What a disgrace. It's a destruction, horrible. Right.
It's a destruction, horrible click. Sure, whatever. I mean, I didn't realize he spoke Swahili or something.
It's a horrible thing happening
it's horrible.
to our country. As we speak, the Biden administration is also negotiating to redistribute billions and billions of dollars in American wealth to other countries through the so-called climate reparation. In other words, we're paying a reparation. They're saying we were so bad that we're paying reparations to other countries. You believe it? You know what that means? That means we are paying for years of abuse to other countries when we've been abused by them. Their dirty air from China blows right over our country.
It's not to China. It's to like little tiny countries where like garbage washes up on the shore. And it's a collective fund by Europe and us and other things to do cleanup in those areas. Jesus Christ.
We're supposed to be cleaning our air, but their air, if you look at the stream.
It's not the air. It's fucking, oh God.
Their air blows right over our country.
It does. It just blows right over our country. Unless the wind goes the other way. And then, of course, it hits Kazakhstan, I guess.
Their air is quite dirty. You know, they're building a coal plant a week. A coal plant a week. We're not allowed to use coal anymore. They're using...
We're allowed to. We just don't because it's useless.
Coal.
We've got so much natural gas, we don't need to.
And I'll tell you what. They're using coal and we're using clean coal. We have clean coal. You can do things with coal that are amazing, but...
Yeah, you totally can. You can make Apple people dolls out of it. You could sell it at the state fair as candy.
It's not possible to compete. What are we going to do with wind? Was breaking down all over the place?
Yes, with wind, it's breaking down all over the place.
I passed a field today. It looked beautiful. There were about 30 wind farms or windmills, whatever the hell they were.
They're called windmills. It's a wind. The wind farm would be the whole thing. The mills would be individual items.
They're rusting, they're rotting, they're making a lot of noise. I could hear it for 2 miles away.
Yeah. Yeah, this motherfucker could hear squeaking windmills from 2 miles away. So I guess they're rotting, but they're turning.
They're killing birds as I'm watching. There goes another one. And then the environmentalists say, we love them. We just love them. It's the most expensive form of energy. And, you know, but think of it. China's building every week. They're building another plant, coal plant. They're going to have a lot of energy, but every week, and these are big plants. These are bigger than anything we have.
So what?
When I'm back in office, all climate reparation payments will be canceled immediately. We're not paying reparations to other countries who have abused us on trade, who have abused us on...
Yeah, we're talking about tiny little fucking countries, like, and to some degree, I would guess, like, coastal countries around Africa is largely where these payments were going.
NATO, and we'll work to claw back any transfers made by Crooked Joe and his globalists in the next 12 months. He's
globalists?
Literally giving billions of dollars to other countries that have abused us. They abuse us on trade. They abuse us on NATO and the military.
They abuse us on NATO and the military.
They abuse us in every way because they have no respect for our country anymore. And then we're supposed to pay them reparations. Not going to happen. Crooked Joe puts China first. He puts Asia first, Ukraine first, illegal aliens first, environmental lunatics first.
We're going to put America first.
Puts everyone first. He doesn't put me first. He indicts his political opponent because he's doing so badly. We're beating him by 11, 12, 14 points.
No, that does not seem to be the case. Let me see how this. You go into here, and yeah, I should back up to here, and back to this one. Let's see. Trump. Whoops. Oh. Here's the most recent one. Let's see. Hold on one second. Nikki Haley, getting that out of the way. Yeah. Among I will say, Trump is doing all this word about how. Remember how like youth voters are gonna leave Biden for Trump? Remember that shit? Remember that shit? Shall we? 2024 national general election amongst voters 18 to 29. A 29-point lead in the youth vote. 29-point lead. Yeah, dude, you're fucking killing it. Holy shit. And then, let's see, there was another one where they, let's see. Here we go. Grab the other one because I know we had one in here somewhere. Where is it? The Spectator says, yeah, wait, hold on. 47-43. Trump 49, Georgia, Michigan, bad. Trump 49, Trump. Okay, that was the Biden. Yeah, that was the one they were talking about with Michigan and one of the other ones from the Rasmussen polls. But then, let's see. Marist poll, Biden 49, Trump 48, October. And then recently, I had it up here a second ago. I have to find like the poll itself. So yeah, Biden's leading. According to the Reuters Ipsos poll, Biden is leading Trump by 4 points in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, Michigan, and North Carolina overall. And then, of course, if you do, excuse me, mercy. All right, weehoo, that was good stuff. I know. I'll look on my actual page. Where there we go. This is it. Because I posted this earlier. There you go. General election. Biden up by 10 points. Yeah. I'm sure it's an outlier. I'm sure Trump's got a super shot. All right, back to it.
I saw a poll 17 points.
Oh, yeah, I know. You paid for it.
We're beating him by so much. So he said, what do we do? Let's indict him.
Yeah, he thought this up before you even committed the crime. I did not hit the sneeze button this time. You're right.
Puts America last. He puts Iowa last.
Well, I think the governor of Iowa put Iowa last, didn't she?
Well, he left Iowa. He
did. He left. He just blew
left
it
for
off.
Another state. He left. You don't have that anymore, right? For years you had it. You don't have.
Oh, because the Democrats aren't going to start in Iowa anymore.
But he left Iowa. He puts our workers last. He puts our farmers last. He puts everything that's good last.
Yeah, he puts everything that's good last. Well, I think that's called saving the best for last. Yes, the Biden, Kamala Harris, saving the best for last. There you go.
Put Iowa first. I put America first.
Yes, if you save the best for last, I put Iowa first. Does that make sense? All right.
Single time I do it. It's a real easy one for me to say. That's so easy for me to say. It's no wonder.
Yeah, it's easy for you to say because you don't actually have to do anything. It's just bullshit.
Crooked Joe Biden and the far-left lunatics are desperate to stop us by any means necessary. They're willing to violate the...
If they wanted to stop you by any means necessary, do you have any idea how many fucking means there are in the world? Seriously. If they wanted to stop you by any means necessary, you'd been in a black helicopter a long time. If everything's on the table, what are you talking about? You're getting due process like anybody. The only reason this feels like any means necessary is the first time in his fucking life he's being treated like a normal person.
U.S. Constitution at levels never seen before in order to win an election. They're weaponizing law enforcement for high-level election interference because they're just losing so badly at the polls. They see these polls. The big new Des Moines, Iowa register poll, I mean, it's a big, beautiful poll.
Yeah, it is a beautiful poll.
I never liked it too much until about 2 days ago. They're left-leaning. The Des Moines Register, would you say slightly? He goes very left. They're not so happy with this result, I don't think, but they are left. No, but they have a great pollster, actually. Very powerful pollster, very good.
Very powerful
talented pollster. Of course, if my numbers were bad, I wouldn't be saying that. I'd say they have a terrible pollster. She doesn't know. She doesn't know what she's doing. But no, she's very good. So we're leading with 51%. While Ron DeSanctimonious is at less than 19 and Haley is at 60. What happened to the Haley surge? You know, there's a surge going on.
There is actually. She's like 19%.
You know, we had one on Nationwide poll because a Nationwide, it just came out, morning consult poll, very respected. We're at 67%. DeSantis is at 13 and Haley's at 10. So we're.
So they're both still in double digits. That's interesting.
Another one came out. We're at 76%. Haley's at 9. And I keep.
Yeah, just make it up. By the way, notice how he goes back further before the debates, and their numbers have grown since the debates, and him not showing.
Hearing about.
And so he's like, I saw another poll. Yeah, you saw it 6 months ago.
A surge from Haley. Sir, I'll never vote against you. I'll never run against you. You've been a great president, sir. I'll never do this. This goes on for a year and a half. Then I hear she's having a news cover. I've decided to run. The whole thing. What's with these politicians, right?
Yeah, you are one.
With these politicians. But also, what's with the Haley surge? You know what she was surging against? Him. So Trump's at 76 in this poll. She was at 9. He was at 10. She gained 2 points. I gained 9. So I gained 9. She gained 2. He gained nothing. He was even. He's flat. He's dead. He's gone. Okay? Forget it.
Yeah, forget it. Yeah, I wouldn't even bring him up if I were you.
Forget it. But think of this.
All right, we're thinking.
This. They've been talking about the Haley surge. So she goes up 2 points. I go up, I think 10 points, 9 or 10 points.
It's just like making it up at this point. You didn't go up. You're at the exact same spot. You went down. You went down 10 points. Where the fuck do you think these points came from?
And they say that's the Trump surge. But they don't want to say that. They said she's surging against him, but he's gone nowhere.
This is just gibberish.
These are the most dishonest people ever in our country. These are the most.
You mean your campaign staff and whatever Fox News who's filming this?
See the camera?
This is literally a Trump campaign camera. Down in the corner, it's got the same thing that's on the fucking stand. Look at that. Text Iowa. It's the same shit. Live in Coralville. This is all Trump. This is his entire campaign filming and putting this out.
Those red lights start to go off whenever I... No, there's no surge. They don't have any surge.
Nah, don't worry about it. But you guys don't even have to show up. You know, that's not why I was asking you in the beginning to like flip the fuck out and make sure you show up.
Says a guy in New Hampshire, the governor of New Hampshire, is very selfish. He could have been the senator. We would have taken the majority, but he decided he wanted to run for president, but didn't have the guts to do it. You know, it takes guts to say, I'm going to run for president. So he played.
Okay, so you're saying that DeSantis and Haley and Chris Christie and Jeb Bush and all these folks, they all have guts. All right.
On the fringes, it's called. And he'd go around, go do every show and how he should be president, but he never had the guts to say it. And he registered at 0 in the polls. And in New Hampshire, I was beating him by 60 points. And he decided not to run, okay? But he didn't have to say that because he never said he was going to run. He's one of these guys he was going to do, but he could have been a senator. Now he couldn't be elected dog catcher, and he couldn't be elected dog catcher. And
yeah, it's amazing the impact that you have had on the Republican Party in the last 5 years. What has this asshole actually talked about all night when he's brought up Republicans? At its essence, besides shitting on them and blowing himself up, what are you really seeing from this clown? He's telling you how many Republican careers he has destroyed since he was president. That's it. And that he endorses people who turn out later to be backstabbing assholes, almost to the person. That's it. He's just telling you how many people like whose careers have collapsed that he supported.
He endorsed her today, and it's meant nothing. It's meant nothing. People are wise to this stuff, you know? They're really wise to this stuff. De Sanctimonious has been saying for the past 6 months, wait for the bounce. You know, he's waiting for the bounce. The bounce is going that way. It's going the wrong direction.
Then it's not a bounce.
So they're pretty close. She's sort of catching up, but we're about 50 or 60 points ahead, maybe.
Yeah, you got nothing to worry about.
Even more than that in some of the polls. They did a morning consult. They did a morning.
You do realize at caucuses, you're underwater in Iowa. There's a very strong chance that at the caucuses they could start to negotiate. People could jump ship to support somebody else at the caucuses just to give somebody singularly a boost and take you out so the rest of them can fight it out at the other states. You know that happens as well. Good luck.
Consult. I don't know, Mr. Attorney General. Did you see it? Morning consult.
Mr. Attorney General. What's his fucking name again?
Did a poll of all of the states, the whole states. And if I'm like leading by 35 points, that's like a bad state for me. And then they talk about the bounce. The bounce has got to be a hell of a bounce, I'll tell you. But, you know, one thing I have to say to you, because I know so many of you were friends, and I have to say this. We are leading by a lot, but you have to go out and vote.
Yeah, you got to show up because these numbers are not reflective of the actual primary or the actual voting group. And most of you guys didn't vote last time and aren't going to this time. You got to show up at the caucuses and make some noise.
Because so much means, you know, going out, the margin of victory is very important. It's just very important, even for foreign countries watching, but it's very important. That margin of victory is so powerful. Brenna was telling me before, she said, sir, you've got to say something about it because you are leading by a lot. And sometimes when you're leading by a lot, everyone says, oh, why should I go and vote? The margin of victory is so important. And frankly, bad things can happen if you don't. I understand.
Yeah, bad things can happen if you don't.
Phil, and let's not. But this great spirit, you got to go and vote. We got to knock the one off, and then we worry about no.
Yeah, you got to.
We have to slab it.
Exactly.
Remember, and we're going to win. We're way up on this guy. It's just incredible that he can.
Yeah, you're way up on this guy because Chris Christie and Nikki Haley have overtaken him.
Frankly, be even running anything. He can't put two sentences together. He's running. Can't find his way off the stage.
No, this bullshit.
See all the stairs around here? How the hell do you not? Where is the stair? He says.
What if you walk over and there's not a stairs and you see somebody you know and you go, hey, man, what's going on? And then you go, I got to go this way. I'll talk to you later. Like, that's great. Okay, cool. And then you walk back. Does that mean you were going to fall off the fucking stage?
Where is the stair? To show you how evil the press is, I did this routine where I stumbled and mumbled purposely, imitating him. And they put it on. They said, he's cognitively impaired. Then I walked back.
In all fairness, they did play some of the other dopey shit you say. So that's kind of,
Michigan gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang. Free health care for illegal, yeah, look.
Like that kind of thing. Yeah.
They don't like the gas. We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
Like that.
He can do things with his tongue you wouldn't believe it.
Purge
the anti-Semitism and pro-terrorism. What you're doing?
Yeah, that kind of they use stuff like that.
I'm looking and I walk. What? Where? And he walks off the stage and he's like. And they said it was me. I couldn't find. So I can't use sarcasm because they're very dishonest people. You know, sarcasm is a disaster. Every time I use sarcasm.
Yeah, sarcasm is a disaster. Also, is that physical sarcasm?
Like that. They say, I couldn't find my way off the stage. I got stairs all over. And if you want, it's only about 3.5 feet. I could jump off the front.
Go for it. Please try. Honest to God, this motherfucker couldn't jump off an apple box.
But this guy can't.
A half apple.
Can't find his way. So sarcasm's a very dangerous thing with a dishonest press. So, I go.
It's also difficult to use if you're constantly full of shit and duplicitous and nobody knows if you're being serious because you don't know if you're being
Go
serious.
through a long story because they actually had me like walking into it's so sad. I said,
They showed you walking down the ramp. That's what you're pissed about.
do people believe that? And I just took a physical. You'll be happy to hear. A great football player is going to be happy to hear this.
Yeah, I'm completely glad to hear about it. That you've done it. Did you get a finger up the ass? Did somebody,
River.
because it's not a real, physical.
Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
Not these nuts, but
Yeah, no, she's crazy. She is totally nuts.
I took a physical and I passed with flying colors.
you wait a minute. You shit blood on the doctor?
And I took a cognitive exam.
You did? You took another one?
I said, doctor, give me anything you want. I want to take it. I think you actually, if you're running for president, I think you should be forced to take it. They say it's not constitutional. So instead of, look, we love our Constitution, but look what we have in office. This guy cannot pass a cognitive exam. But I took a cognitive exam and I aced it. He said, I aced it. Thank you very much, doctor. But
Did he pat you on the head? What flavor was the sucker?
and you know who gave me the first time I ever even heard of it?
Ronnie Jackson?
Dr. Ronnie. Do you know Doc Ronnie? He's one of the great congressmen now. Ronnie Jackson. He was the doctor. He's an admiral.
He was the doctor.
He was the doctor in the White House. He was my doctor. He was Obama's doctor, too, by the way. I said, who's healthy?
No, he was a doctor there and they fired him.
He said, sir, there's no contest. I won't tell you the answer, but you know the answer. Okay, it was me.
Sorry, what? I was busy reading.
Dr. Ronnie. Do you know Doc Ronnie? He's one of the great congressmen.
Yeah, they called him
now.
Dr. Feelgood.
Ronnie Jackson. He was the doctor. He's an admiral. He was the doctor in the White House. He was my doctor. He was Obama's doctor, too, by the way. I said, who's healthier? He said, sir, there's no contest. I won't tell you the answer, but you know the answer. Okay, it was me.
It was Obama. You're out of your fucking mind.
He said, you're the healthiest guy. He said, if he didn't eat junk food, he'd live to 200 years old.
But since he eats junk food, he hasn't got a lot of time left, so spend it wisely.
That's my kind of a doctor. But he gave me, at Walter Reed, they gave me a cognitive exam, and I aced it. I actually aced it, got everything right. And I took another one, got everything right. I would know when it's going bad. I would tell you, if it's going bad, I'll be the first to know.
Yeah. No, you won't. That's what cognitive failure is about, fuckhead. You don't know it's failing. It's like if I was a schizophrenic, I'd be the first one to know it. It's not how it works.
You know who would be the first to know? Front Row Joes would be the first to know.
Oh, they've seen it.
They will tell me, they'll say.
By the way, I am going along tonight just for the fuck of it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Good to see you if you're just joining now. This is live, or was live, where it started. It always takes me longer, but.
Hey, sir, we love you. We've
like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, hit the like, all that stuff.
been here. We've gone to 120 rallies, but, sir.
Yeah, we don't vote here. We don't really vote anywhere. We're responsible for a good 20% of your crowd now. And none of us we basically sold our homes to follow you around. So we're not registered anywhere. We're useless as voters. And we've heard this shit over and over and over again. And we're crazy. And if you let us down again, some of us are going to snap.
It's time for you to pack it in. And I'd want them, you know what? I'd want them to say that. I'd want them. But I feel that right now I'm sharper than I was 20 years ago. And I don't know why.
Because that's one of the signs of dementia. Again, a person with a failing brain would think that they were sharper than ever before. They would think the problem is everyone else.
I don't know why. You know, it's a funny thing, and it's a very minor thing, but I'm a much better golfer than I was 10 or 15 years ago. Means something. You know, it means something in a certain way.
Well, you certainly had plenty of practice while you were in office.
It means something. No, but I did. I took a physical, passed it. I thought I had an obligation, and I took a cognitive and aced it.
Have you told everybody you aced it, though? 4 fucking times?
I said, which did I do better on, my physical or my cognitive? He said, actually, sir, your cognitive. And I wasn't sure I was happy about that. He said, your cognitive is incredible. It's time for the Republican Party.
So I don't know about you, but I feel a lot better about him. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, all my concerns have been put to bed. And, of course, a pillow held over their head until they stopped moving.
To come together and focus our energy and resources on beating crooked Joe Biden and taking back our country. Very simple.
Very simple. It's written right there. Steve wrote it. I just saw it.
And every dollar these losing candidates are not going anywhere. These debates, that was the lowest rated debate in history. You know that, lowest rated president.
And yet, work with me on this. Lowest rated debate, and yet it moved the needle amongst the primary voters and the voters in general on the Republican side. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? That means that all the Republicans were watching, there's just not a lot of them anymore.
Debate nobody watched. Every dollar these losing candidates spend against me is a dollar donated to the campaign of crooked Joe Biden. You know, they're spending all this money, and the RNC has to stop this nonsense. Now I guess they finally got out, but now they're being picked up by the enemy, CNN. That's the enemy. These are people that are they were one of the ones that did the thing with the imitations. You can't imitate. They were one of the groups that did the imitations. Did you see him? Did you see him? He couldn't find his way off the stage. I can't. Actually, it's hard to stay on the stage. There's so many exits, right? He couldn't find his way off.
Oh, you're worried about falling off the stairs? Is that what you're worried about?
The stage, but they were one. They're right there. Hello, CNN.
No, they aren't.
The red light just went off. Anytime I mention them, they say, get that light off. It's coming now. Nonetheless, we're dominating crooked Joe in the general election. The CNN poll of battleground states has us leading Biden by 8 in Georgia and 10 points in Michigan. That's great because the auto workers are getting killed with this electric car. They're all going to be made.
No, they aren't. They just signed the best deal they've ever had.
In China. Poll numbers.
Also, the reason he says that is because he thinks auto workers are grease monkeys who don't understand electric cars, and that's a design that's made for people who build computers, and he thinks they're too stupid to be able to assemble electric cars. He really believes.
It also revealed that African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, young Americans, and just about everybody else want to join the Republican Party. It's the party of the American.
They just don't like what it does, what it stands for, or who's in it. But other than those 3 things, they're ready to join.
Dream, not the Democrat Party of open borders, chaos, uniform laughter at us throughout the world.
Uniform laughter. Yes, everyone laugh at the same time, please.
And Biden and his allies are by far the worst representatives anywhere in the world on a thing called borders.
On a thing called borders. They call it borders. It's not the bookstore. Hate books. So why would you want that in the first place?
He's ever had a border policy like we do. I don't care if it's a third world nation. I always say no.
You always say
a ninth world country, not a third world country. A ninth
third world
country.
Nation's as bad as we have millions of people flowing in. I believe it'll be 15 or 16 million people. That's
30. I'm going 45. 45 million people all coming in from different places. Yeah. It's just ridiculous. They're all going to be in here and I guess they'll become American citizens, and then a good portion of them from Latin American countries are more than likely pro-life Catholics, so they'll probably vote Republican, and then there'll be a bunch of people who snuck in from China, and they escaped, and they're going to be anti-communist, so they're going to vote Republican. So I think Republicans are trying to change America.
It's bigger than New York State, and they're coming in.
No, it isn't. New York State has 20 million people
from places that you don't want to know about.
I do want to know about it.
They're bad on policy. They're bad on taxes.
These people are well, I don't know where they're from, so I don't know where they picked up their tax habits.
They're bad on everything except for
they're bad on everything.
Cheating on elections. They're good at cheating. You know, if they put that genius to running our country, we'd have the greatest. I wouldn't have to bother running. I could be a real estate guy in New York and enjoy my life.
Not anymore.
They would literally, but I do enjoy this. I shouldn't enjoy it. Who the hell gets indicted 4 times and has a good time?
Someone who's sundowning, or John Gotti.
Who?
Or perhaps a man who's sort of a lame combination of both.
Who? Even Brenna's going, you're right about that. Right, Brenna? No,
Brenna's the only name he remembers of the people in the front row. That's why he's saying Mr. That's why he's saying Mr. Attorney General and the kicker, the punter, or whatever.
Well, one of the things that's very soothing, it won't. One of the things that's very soothing is when you look at these polls, they're the best polls.
No, they're not.
Des Moines Register said it's the best poll that they've ever had in terms of what we're doing with the lead.
Yeah, it's the best poll they've ever had in terms of what we're doing.
The numbers, they're the best numbers they've ever seen. When you see that, it makes you feel good. And that supersedes all of this political stuff that's going on against political opponents. And there's such a dangerous precedent they're setting and so bad for our country. But when you
Yeah, I'm not worried about me. I'm having a great time, but it's bad for the country. But I'm having a great time while it's bad for the country.
see the kind of numbers we're getting, and not just here, in every state. I mean, think of it, leading Michigan by 10 or 11 points. Michigan's always tough. Won it in 16. I also won it in 20, but, you know, they took it away. But what they did in 2020 is a disgrace. And you notice they never go after the people that cheated on the election. They go after the people that are looking at the people that cheated on the election. Think of it, right?
Because those people who are looking for who cheated broke a lot of laws looking for people and didn't find anyone.
It's a disgrace what's going on with our country. The radical left, Democrats rigged the presidential election in 2020, and we're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election in 2020.
Honest to God, work with me on a second. Let me buy your premise. If they were able to rig it while they were out of power, what the ever-loving shit makes you think you're going to be able to overtake that when you're out of power? They kicked your ass when they didn't even have control of the system. Now they do, and you're going to win? What the fuck? It almost sounds like you're admitting that it's on the up and up. That you're not going to let them rig it because they never had any intention to in the first fucking place.
Well, we're not going to allow it.
We're not going to allow it by what? How? What are you going to do to stop it if it existed? Doesn't, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You couldn't do it while you were president of the United States of America, the highest office in the fucking world? You got your ass kicked by a guy who never left his basement and can't put two sentences together and a couple of black ladies in Atlanta? The fuck out of here.
Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor. I'm being indicted. You have to remember this, and I believe it's true. I'm being indicted for you.
Yeah, this is your fucking fault. If I hadn't run for president because you guys wanted me to, I could have hid my crimes from everybody till it was too late, and I would have been dead, and they would be arresting Eric right now.
Never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. This is
the fuck are you talking about? The lockdowns happened while you were president. Does that matter at all? At all? Which freedoms? What are you talking about? What freedoms have we lost? Are we going to start talking about, what is it?
Underseas Second Amendment.
The Underseas Second Amendment?
It's an honor to be doing this.
It's an honor to go to jail for you fuckers.
They want to...
This is your fault. If they weren't trying to shut you down, I'd be fine.
Silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the...
Yeah, where'd you say that last? On your live stream from your campaign, or on Truth Social, or on Fox News, or where you just had a town hall? All the silencing. It's brutal, the silencing.
And they're not after me, they're after you, and I just...
Yeah, and I'm just in the way.
Just happen to be standing in their way. That's truthful.
Yeah, that's truthful. It's truthful. It's truthful. And at any moment, you fuckers better be warned that if they lock me up, you're next. Especially if you have boxes and boxes of classified documents in your shitter.
You know, if I wasn't doing this, if I weren't running, or probably if I was in 5th place or 4th place or even 3rd place.
You will be.
This wouldn't be taking place, but...
No, opposite. You decided to run when they told you were going to be indicted. You got the heads up that the indictment was coming, and you thought the only way I can outrun this is that I got to run for office again so I can claim they're trying to stop me from the election, from getting elected. That's it.
We're so far ahead of him, and we're so far ahead of everyone that they've done this. And, now they're saying, let's rush it to the Supreme Court. We got to rush it, rush it, rush it. They could have started 3 years ago. Nothing changed.
Well, no, because a lot of these crimes you just committed.
They could have started 3 years ago, but they didn't. They started just recently with this crap. They started just recently. They could have brought this lawsuit, Brenna, 3 years ago, right after.
It's been a year. They've been doing this shit. They've been investigating it or having panels on it for a year. This is how long this process takes, dumb fuck.
After I left, it's been 3 years, but they didn't do that. And now they're saying, we have to go immediately before the Supreme Court. This thing would have all been over with 2 years ago, but they
Yeah, you would have been in jail, I guess. They were giving you the benefit of the doubt.
waited and waited and waited, and then they saw I was running, and they waited, and then they saw I was hot, and they filed lawsuits. These are very dishonest people. That's called
Filed lawsuits.
election interference. And now they're fighting like hell because they want to try.
You mean filed charges? Because again, that just tells you the lawsuit is the civil thing that he's dealing with, and that's more important to him.
And get a guilty plea from the Supreme Court of the United States, which I can't imagine because you have presidential immunity.
No, you don't.
But strange things happen, but they want to get that because that's the only way they're going to win the election. It's a very sick thing. But think of it. They waited and waited and waited for years. In fact, nobody thought, everyone was saying they're never going to bring any charges. Most people said they're not going to bring them because they don't have anything. And then all of a sudden we started getting hit with these laws.
No, most people were like, what are they waiting for? They have so much. And then it took Merrick Garland a long time because they paced it right. And they also had to wait until you dealt with your, New York brought its civil case because you have to undermine the myth before people recognize you're a total fraud and that you've been full of shit this whole time. And then the chances of one of your followers being violent is lower when you go to jail for the other shit you did.
And in fact, in New York, in the DA's office, they actually took a top prosecutor from Washington and put him in the local DA's office.
So he's a top prosecutor, is he? He's a top guy? Huh. Must be very good.
They took a top prosecutor from Washington and put him with Letitia James, a very fine woman.
Well, I'm glad she's got good people working for and with her. She must be onto something.
Very fine. A woman who campaigned without knowing anything about me.
And by the way, how does anybody in New York know anybody about you? Does anybody in New York know nothing about you? That's what I meant to say.
I will get Trump. I will get Trump. I will get Trump.
Yeah, and it got her elected.
She's screaming. Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Yeah, they have.
And they got nothing. They got nothing.
You've already been found culpable. You're going to lose your business license. The only part of the trial that's left over is how much money you're going to have to pay, stupid.
But they have a good judge for them. And it's a very, sadly to say, it's a very corrupt system. But they got nothing. But they actually took somebody from the DOJ, put her there. They took somebody from the DOJ.
Yeah, top people.
And put that person.
Hashtag the best people. They actually had the best people.
In the DA's office. You think my life is fun, Front Row Joes? You think it's fun?
You just said it was.
But it is for me because we're going to make our country greater than ever before. That's what it is.
Yeah. Had to oh shit. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, he looks very happy.
And this is far more than a campaign. This is the greatest political movement in the history of our country. That's
Yeah, it's one of the greatest movements ever.
what it is.
That's what it is. It's so good. It's so good. And it's so good that I started out in 40,000 seat arenas talking to large groups of people, and now I'm in Coralville, Iowa, talking to a half-filled high school gymnasium. So few people in there, you can actually make out individual voices.
Thank you. Thank you. in a righteous crusade to liberate this nation from a corrupt political class that is waging war on American democracy. They're
waging war on democracy. They're saying we are doing it, but they are doing it.
Destroying our country, rapidly destroying our country.
Rapidly through lower unemployment, historically low unemployment, especially amongst minorities, a rising stock market, and savings accounts as the average American.
In many different ways, with injustice,
with infrastructure,
with border,
lower insulin prices,
with taxes, in many different ways.
Many different ways. I mean, there are not any real taxes that have gone up at all, but
destroying our country with lack of respect from the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that Kim Jong-un and the Saudis, they just don't like us like they used to. Putin, he's very upset.
If you put me back in the White House, their reign will be over and America will be a free nation once again. We're not a free nation right now.
No, he's doing this from prison.
I mean, you look at school boards where they're going after the parents, where they're going after Catholics in particular. They're going after, how can a Catholic vote for this
Catholic
group of people?
You mean the president who's a Catholic?
Or Democrats. They're going, I don't know what it is with Catholics. They're going violently and viciously after Catholics.
Huh. Must be Catholic on Catholic crime. It's the worst.
They're going after Christians, but they're really going after Catholics.
And I guess that's because Biden's a Catholic and he knows where all the bodies are buried.
At a level that nobody quite understands.
Yes, including you. You don't understand. The only Catholics they've been interested in are violent pro-lifers amongst Catholics and evangelicals, the kind that kill doctors and blockade clinics.
Together, we achieved the most secure border in U.S. history. We built 561 miles of border wall, and we got Mexico.
And along with it, 300 extra miles of access road on the Mexican side of the border, now making it traversable where it once wasn't. Fucking genius.
To give us 28,000 soldiers free of charge. You know, they always say, oh, but did he get money from Mexico? First of all, I built more wall than I said I was good. I thought it would be 350, 400. We did 561. We were ready.
Bullshit. He was talking about 2,000 miles, sea to shining sea. Remember, he was going to go from the Gulf of Mexico to California, wall all the way across, the entire southern border. That was the pitch.
To add another 200. Could have been done in 3 weeks, but...
the rest of it took that long, but 3 weeks to do 200 miles wall. No wonder the fucking wind blew it
These
over.
guys ended up not putting it up. All you had to do is slap it up.
All you had to do is slap it up there on private land or Indian land against the law.
It was all built. And they put it in areas, and I hear they sold it for pennies on the dollar, and it was the exact wall that the Border Patrol wanted.
Yeah, it's their stupid wall, their stupid slat fence. I wanted something else, but they wanted see-through so that the coyotes could see through it and know if there were guards on the other side so they know when to make their cross.
Who are great
with their $9 ladder.
People, Brandon Judd, and all of the people that I had working on the border. These are incredible people. And we worked with Tom.
And they never managed to draft legislation. Diane, we have about 25 minutes of this. I know it's a long time. Sorry. You don't have to stick around for it. I'm just burning it down because we haven't done this in a long time. So if I'm the last one standing, I'm going to get all the way to the end of this stupid fucking thing.
I'm home and
to again prove that I don't take stuff out of context, and this dumb motherfucker says the same lame, boring shit all the time.
He's central casting.
Go make some snacks or have some dinner and come back.
He was fantastic. But I appointed nearly 300 federal judges.
Yeah, you gotta remember what we were talking about earlier with Glenn Beck and Mark Levin and this motherfucker.
And 3 great Supreme Court justices.
Yeah, who they all think are idiots and closet Democrats.
I kept my promise, recognized Israel's eternal capital, and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem.
Right. Weeks later, that's when Hamas came up with their rope-a-dope plan and passed their note to Netanyahu that they wanted a conditional ceasefire. And then they started planning October 7th, and you were like, see, there's no problem. Fuck it.
Which no other president was doing. They talked about...
Yes, because of what it would lead to. It would be a permanent shift in policy that would make the most violent members of the Palestinian groups decide this is it. It's on. The U.S. has decided to destroy Palestine, and we're going for fucking broke. It's exactly what fucking happened. They were just more patient with it than you thought they would be.
They never did it. They all talked about it for decades and decades. They never did it. I got it done. I also
Yes, because it's a bad idea.
recognize Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights.
Right, precisely. And weeks later, hold on one second. I know we're at this late hour. Hold on. Sinwar Hebrew message Netanyahu ceasefire. Blah blah blah. So this is when let's see. Yeah, here you go. There you go. Whoop. Anybody want to look at the timing of when Trump did this shit? And hold on. There we go. Drag this over here. Hamas leader Sinwar. Hold on. I'll slide this over so that you're not blocking the way, whatever. Sent Netanyahu a letter during the 2018. Sent Netanyahu a Hebrew letter to Netanyahu during the 2018 truce talks about a ceasefire. Look at this fucking peace signs he's holding up at a rally in Gaza City. Yeah. He goes, he sent him a letter in August of 2018. Take a calculated risk, Sinwar wrote to Netanyahu in Hebrew in a letter. It appeared to be referring to a brewing agreement that would see Israel allow Qatari aid on a regular basis to pay Hamas civil servants as well as needy families in Gaza. Qatari support is considered a crucial lifeline for impoverished Palestinians living in Gaza, which has been under Israel and Egyptian blockade. And, oh, that's nice. They used to say and Egyptian blockade during this thing. Hold on one second. Articles. Here we go. And Egyptian blockade, because again, if indeed you believe Gaza is the world's largest open air prison, only two sides of it is blocked by Israel. The other side is blocked by Egypt. You should ask them a few questions about why they, of all people, don't want Palestinians coming into their country. Because I got to say, there's nothing, while there is in Hamas's declaration, it says the Jews have got to die and we got to get rid of Israel permanently. That's that. And that's what they ran on and that's what they won on. But the Egyptians, they don't have anything about the Egyptians needing to all die or the president of Egypt being wiped out or anything like that in their paperwork. And yet the Egyptians are a little touchy. And no, the ports aren't a full blockade. Aid can get in, has been getting in for a long time. And there's international boats that go in and out of there all the time. Let's see. Israel has been allowing millions of dollars of Qatari cash to fly through its crossings into Gaza on a monthly basis since 2018 in order to maintain a fragile ceasefire with Hamas. As of early, and this is the whole thing, like Netanyahu's been paying Hamas because they were trying to basically buy the peace. Yeah. So, and some $30 million in cash has been delivered in suitcases to Gaza each month through an Israeli-controlled crossing. That's that whole thing about they're paying Hamas to do all this shit. And he created Hamas and built Hamas and all this kind of stuff. They're basically paying them not to kill people. Didn't work. But all of this was triggered because this motherfucker decided, apropos of nothing, to just go, Golan Heights. Yeah, it's yours. And Jerusalem. And we'll move the embassies.
And actually, probably most important of all, but Biden's done nothing with it. I withdrew from the disastrous Iran nuclear deal. The Iran nuclear deal was a disaster for Israel. Nobody wanted it in Israel, and they just went through Obama and Biden. They pushed it through, and it was a terrible thing. I withdrew from it.
You mean Netanyahu didn't want it?
But they didn't do anything with the withdrawal. Iran was broke when I was president.
No, they weren't. The $6 billion that was released and then not released by the Biden administration in exchange for the hostages was in a South Korean bank that was to be used only to purchase humanitarian goods, food and other stuff for Iran. That money had to sit there. The payments had to be done through brokers that were known by both parties and us and South Korea. That $6 billion was earned by Iran selling oil and gas to South Korea while he was president because he gave them a waiver to buy Iranian oil.
China wasn't buying oil. India wasn't buying.
This is the whole, where is he? This one.
China don't buy. None of you buy. Weren't buying. They were broke. And you didn't have the problems that
they were building a nuclear weapon. That was the purpose of that's why the deal was there. And then once the deal stopped, they went back to it.
Now, you would have never seen an attack on Israel. It would have never happened.
Bullshit. They literally planned it within a week of this asshole giving Israel the Golan Heights, recognizing the Golan Heights. They said it. They planned it. They rope-a-doped Israel, and they said, you know, the minute we think their guard is sufficiently down, and Netanyahu bought it, and he started doing all this bullshit with the judiciary in the country, got all tied up in the politics of that, and got distracted by it, and they thought, this is a good window, this is a good time. Yeah, no Arab country wants to take Palestinians. Every Arab nation has Palestinian refugee camps where they don't let them live amongst them. Right. That's another conversation for another time. This fucker has no idea about any of that shit.
You would have never seen an attack on Ukraine. It was never going to happen.
By the way, there were monthly bombings the entire time between like Gaza, Hamas, and I guess the jihadi movement in there, the Islamic Jihad in Gaza, was sending rockets from Gaza into Israel every month of his presidency, without fail. And in a couple of cases, 250, 400 rockets in one fell swoop. Constantly. This asshole pretends like it never happened. Secondarily, there was always fighting in the Donbass the entirety of his presidency. He just never did anything with it except cradled Trump's balls in his gullet.
I got along very well with Putin. It was never going to...
Yeah, we know. You were just going to give it to him.
It was never going to happen. You wouldn't have had inflation. You wouldn't have had any of the problems, all of these problems.
Right. You wouldn't have had inflation because the economy would have continued to spiral downward.
Inflation was caused by the crazy energy prices that this guy caused to happen.
The crazy energy prices that this guy caused to happen, which would be the entire world shut down, and then large portions of the world came back online, and there was no refineries open, there was no shipping, basically everything had come to a fucking standstill, and then they had to everybody was jockeying to buy very little supply.
And with the historic Abraham Accords, I even made peace in the Middle East. We had peace.
Yeah, peace. Peace in the Middle East amongst countries that weren't actively fighting.
Peace in the Middle East. We would have had people signing left and right.
You would have, except for that whole Golan Heights thing. And the Jerusalem thing and the embassy thing.
For 4 straight years, I kept America safe. I kept Israel safe. I kept Ukraine safe. And I kept the entire world safe. You know,
all by yourself, you must be exhausted.
There's a great leader, very powerful leader.
Very powerful leader. Somebody very powerful, very smart, very well respected.
In Hungary, Viktor Orban. Yeah,
great guy. Totally great.
And they interviewed him 2 or 3 weeks ago. Viktor Orban, very powerful man, very respected.
Yes. In a country that's massively known for its exports of, it's a big part of the financially, the community, you know, Hungary's really known for its, I'll think of something.
Some people don't like him because he's
a bigot.
He's a tough guy.
Because he's a bigot.
But they said the whole world is exploding. Look at what's going on in the Middle East and everything.
Yeah, none of this has ever happened
Everything
before.
is exploding. And the world is a mess. He said there's only one thing that can be done. They said, well, what would you do? And what would you tell Biden? He said, I'd tell Biden to resign. You have to put Trump back in power. Because when he was here...
So Hungary first, I guess is what we're saying.
When he was here, China respected him.
They did? According to this asshole, they sent a biological weapon to try and kill all of us, to wipe out the world. If you listen to RFK, the Jews and the Chinese worked together to drive the population down by releasing a pathogen. Meanwhile, what did this guy do? We haven't touched on this in a little bit, but I feel we have some maggots in the crowd, and there might be some trolls out there. So I really want your answer on this. Engage. Explain this to me again. So, on the one hand, if the lab leak is theory is true, and this disease just accidentally got out, and it managed to get everywhere. Trump's management of it cost more lives than any other major Western country. By the way, China's numbers are bullshit, but we'll put that aside for another time. Probably in the close to the order of 21 million to 25 million people dead. That said, if it was an accident, he was like, it'll go away with the sunshine, and then he created these vaccines that were rushed, right? And none of the maggots want to take them because they think there wasn't sufficient testing and all that. That was him, warp speed. Brilliant branding expert that he is. But let's say the other one, the other storyline, which these assholes like to push, which is China did it on purpose. They made up this pathogen. I just have to put this up so nobody thinks that this is real, or otherwise I'll get in trouble and my channel will get shut down, or I'll get some sort of weird, unwarranted community note. I'm not against them, but I want to earn them righteously. So, let's just go with what some of this good portion of this guy's supporters believe, which is that China created this on purpose and released it into the world to try and destroy America and the West and that kind of stuff. And if that's the case, that means that Donald Trump was president of the United States during the worst biological weapon attack in American history, in the history of the world, and his response to that attack was to sell the people that sent the biological weapon the largest order of beef, corn, pork, and soybeans in American history. Because that's what he did. While, by the way, Americans were in food lines. I point you to June through August of 2020.
And Russia respected him, and everybody respected him, and North Korea, Kim Jong-un respected him, and we...
So fucking what? Why do you want the respect of somebody who starves their people?
had no problems, and he's acting up again, and it's very sad to see that.
It's sad that he's acting up again. I mean, he did open up a special commercial zone where he's putting the toe in the water of opening up the country all of a sudden, and it's a very strange change that's occurred and maybe linked to the collapse of Russia on some fronts, but whatever.
But we had a very good relationship.
Totally, yeah. Reach arounds for everybody.
Moon River. Where's Dick? Hi, Dick. Do we like Dick? Yes. What? But when Trump was here, we had no problems with this man. The whole world is collapsing. You could end up very easily in World War III. You could.
Yeah, I mean, aren't we I thought we were on the edge of the brink of already in World War III.
Could end up in a World War III that.
Yeah, probably, but not for at least a year and a half. So I'd coast on it.
Would be like no other because of the weaponry, nuclear weapons in particular, but a lot of weapons and.
Yeah, a lot of other stuff. Nuclear weapons, Jewish space lasers.
The level of weaponry now is at a level this won't be army tanks going back and forth shooting each other. This will be obliteration. And we have a man that is grossly incompetent as our chief.
Wait a minute. It's going to be obliteration, but it's not going to be nuclear. So what do we have? Are you going to admit it? Finally, we have what is it? Re-engineered. Hold on. Do I have him saying that? Hold on one second.
De-engineering.
Where they're de-engineering UFOs.
Chief negotiator, that's Biden. And we can't have this. We can't have this. You'll end up in World War III. We are going to be a country no more. I actually think it will not. It will be a country no more.
Mm-hmm.
We will once again have peace through strength if you put us in, and when we become the 47th president of the United States, you'll see things happening at a much different level. You will be respected again. We will be a great nation again.
Yeah, I love adjectives. Don't you guys love adjectives? They're great. They're great and super and good, and they're big and also small, but whatever you need.
And I'm the only candidate who can make this promise to you. I will prevent World War III, and we are much closer than anybody understands.
How can you prevent it if you're not in office and we're very close to it? And secondarily, I think the only way you can promise it is that if we enter World War III, it ends relatively quickly, and you have to worry about World War IV, I suppose.
Don't forget, we have 11 months to go.
Right. Yeah. During which time you have absolutely no power over anything. And by the way, You wouldn't even get sworn in if you actually won until, I guess 13 months plus.
It doesn't sound like a long time, but the kind of destruction they do. We have 11 months to go.
Right. So how long can you keep up this, oh my God, we're on the verge thing for 11 fucking months? Because I think some folks are just going to start calling bullshit, right?
And the kind of destruction they do is, that's a long time. They can do a lot of damage. I'm talking about people from within our country.
Okay. They could do 11 months worth of destruction.
On my first day back in the White House, I will terminate every open borders policy of the Biden administration.
I'm sorry, the Biden what? The administration?
I'm talking about people from within our country. On my first day back in the White House, I will terminate every open borders policy of the Biden administration.
Yeah, you got to stop the Biden administration. I agree. For those of you who don't know, the administration is a control point where they use tiny things and they do it all in one place. It's the administration, and it's really important, but it's very hard to find.
Stop the invasion of our southern border and begin the largest domestic deportation operation in American history. We have no choice.
We have no choice. We just got to put all these. Anybody who looks even vaguely Mexican or Guatemalan, they speak with an accent, except for Punter over here with his Australian accent. Everybody's got to get in a bus. We just drop them off in the desert. Man, woman, child, baby, infant, because we got to be pro-family. We got to do that.
I will immediately restore and expand the Trump travel ban on entry from terror-plagued countries, and I will implement strong ideological screening on all immigrants coming in. If they want.
Yeah, I can't see how that Biden's got a problem with Muslim voters who are going to leave him and switch parties and vote for Trump. Remember that story all this week? That fucking dead talking point? I can see how that works out. So all those folks, if any of you see this, what's your response? Good, I left because I wanted to get away from those fuckers anyways? Is that generally the idea? Right. Yeah, and again, nobody from Israel. Good point.
Want to blow up our country? If they want to kill our people, we're not letting them into our.
Well, here's the thing. If they tell you they want to blow up the country, you're not going to let them in. That's general policy all the time. So you're telling me as long as they go, no, I don't want to blow up anything. This is like a scene from The Dictator.
Country, if you hate America, if you want to abolish Israel, if you sympathize with jihadists and then don't.
And tell us, if you write it down, if you answer yes to these questions like a complete asshole, we only want terrorists in here who are smart enough to not tell us.
Want your country to be great. You don't want America to be great and loving and caring. You're not coming into our country. We will restore law and order to our communities, and I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical, out-of-control prosecutor in America for their illegal racist and reverse.
Yeah, and I can think of one lady in particular going after a person I can think of, me.
Enforcement of the law. And
how long before these fuckers start chanting, lock blacks up? Lock blacks up, because that's what he's talking about there, for the record.
something very, very important to me, because I've seen crime go to levels that nobody can even imagine.
Well, yeah, you've right in front of you. You've watched your own hands do it, which is amazing because your hands are so small, they seem farther away. Like, are my arms really long or are my hands this tiny? It's a perspective trick. It's fascinating.
Over the last few years, in the cities in particular.
Uh-huh. That's weird. So you just go to the cities, is what you're saying, because that's where all the nice hotels and the food is. So you don't see the crime go up in the little rural areas because you avoid them for the most part?
I am going to indemnify through the federal government all police officers and law enforcement officials throughout the United States for being destroyed by the radical left for taking strong actions on crime. They're afraid to do anything.
Okay, you cannot indemnify police officers for taking strong action across the country. They're local police forces. They're not under the federal government. They are under the Constitution, laws, and the laws of the states they're in and the counties they're in. No.
They're forced to avoid any conflict.
No, they aren't.
They're forced to let a lot of bad people do what they want to do.
No, they aren't.
Because they're under a threat of losing their pension, losing their house, losing their families. They're afraid to do anything. They're incredible people.
No. This is what happens when people think Twitter's a fucking window.
Among our greatest people, law enforcement, police.
Yeah. Meanwhile, fuck the Capitol Police.
And women, they lose their pensions, they lose their families, they lose their house, they end up on the street.
What? Wait, Derek Chauvin and crowd? And this is not a regular occurrence, fuckwad.
We are going to indemnify them against any and all liability.
You can't. You cannot. That's not possible. You might as well just say, and Mexico's going to pay for it.
And we're going to stop crime in our cities.
Are you? You're just going to stop it? How you going to? You're just going to like hang out on a fucking rooftop like Batman? We're going to create pre-crime. We're going to stop crime before it even happens. We don't need reasonable doubt. Just if people look guilty, we're going to take stop and frisk, and we're going to change it to stop and shoot. That's it.
Generally, something a governor will do or a mayor will do. But we have to step in. We have to stop crime. You can't walk outside.
You can't. These people tried to walk outside, and look what happened.
Washington, D.C. is a horrible situation.
It's horrible. I've been there a couple times in the last year. It must have been an off night because it was really nice.
People are being killed all the time there. They go to Washington to see our capital. We're going to have the federal government take over Washington, D.C., clean it, scrub it, build it, make it so magnificent, bring it back, and make it, most importantly, safe. We're going to do a federal takeover of Washington, D.C., and make our capital great again. We're going to make our capital great again and safe again.
So you're not, here's a good idea. I have a good idea to make the Capitol safe again. Don't invite large groups of your asshole followers down there.
Unlike DeSantis, I will protect Social Security and Medicare for our great seniors. He doesn't want to do that.
Neither does Mike Lee, the vast majority of the maggot-level House and Senate members.
We're also going to fight to give you much better health care. Obamacare is a catastrophe for American families.
Tell us your plan.
Even Elizabeth Warren, often referred to as Pocahontas because of her great Indian heritage, she agrees that it needs to be fixed.
Yeah, she wants it to go further. It's not the same thing.
Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas. You remember that one? And
yeah, we remember it. It doesn't matter.
Name from the past, Pocahontas. They said, you must apologize to her. I said, I apologize to Pocahontas, the real Pocahontas. We're going to make it much less expensive for the people and much better care for American patients.
How? How would you do that?
And on day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding of any school pushing critical race theory.
You're just going to jump right past how healthcare is going to get cheaper. You're just going to say you're going to do it. There's no 5-point plan. There's no two. How about a 2-point plan? How about 2 things you'll actually do that will materially change anything? You're just going to do it. And it'll take you 2 weeks? Right. Okay.
Transgender insanity and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto our children, right?
He's going to say child genital mutilation or something next. And how do you even talk about it? It's not even talking about. We've heard this shit.
And I will not give 1 penny to any school that is a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. None.
Jesus Christ. He's really playing the hits. What school would that be right now? I'll tell you. A school for a bunch of kids on a cancer ward. So he's going to cut funding to any of the schooling that goes on at like the Ronald McDonald House. Any federal funds that go to, special programs to teach kids while they're going through, in some cases, terminal diseases or near terminal diseases or cancer treatments, that kind of stuff. We're just going to cut all funding to that. Yeah, fuck them. That's great. Okay. Any of them have, because they wear masks at those schools. They have to, you know, because you got a bunch of sick kids running around. But fuck them. This is about freedom.
And I will keep men out of women's sports.
So, will you keep women out, and I guess will you keep men out of women's sports? Like, you mean like golf? Because it's not real. I'm just saying, not that traditional masculinity being what it is. I just don't count golf as one of those things. It seems pretty, how do I put this? Agender at best. I mean, you're wearing a visor, like you play tennis, but you're in slacks, and the ball is tiny, and there's only one. I mean, I gotta say, it's a little. I feel like golfers must get misgendered all the time, right? Aren't you? Nah, I'm kidding. It's super butch.
No, it just shows you how crazy this is. You know, think of it.
Yeah, this is going to be the genital mutilation thing.
I have to say, so I guess I'm a politician. I think of myself as a real estate person, a business person, but I guess I'm a politician.
Yeah, well, not anymore.
Right? I became president. I guess I'm a politician. But to think that I'm standing up here saying that I will keep men out of women's sport. Who the hell ever thought that? When did that start? Like 8 years ago, 10 years ago?
3 years ago. And also, it happened because society is grappling with something that we haven't dealt with for a very long time. And so it's going to operate in fits and starts. Without panic and without fear, we can deal with this and speak carefully and competently about these ideas. It's just a measured approach. But you, instead of a sweaty fucking tangerine with a bird's nest on the top of your head who panics at everything. So.
Oh, but there's worse than that. You have things.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
Unbelievable.
Totally unbelievable.
You know, with transition, a lot of transition.
Yes, it's transition. Yeah.
You have things that are unbelievable that you say.
Yeah, you say things about transition.
For instance, I will stand up for parental rights. Who the hell wouldn't stand up for parental rights? No, but why would you have to say that?
Because some parents, a small group of parents, want to override the entire curriculum of some place for, let's say, religious reasons. I'll give you a good example. Let's say, work with me on this, it's something you can deal with, that a group of Muslim parents show up at a school board meeting in Dearborn, Michigan, and they're 20% of the populace, but in this particular case, they decided that their kids need to learn about Sharia law and only Sharia law, and they believe they should have parental rights about what their kids experience in a public school, and they insist on it. And the school board and everybody else goes, no, we're going to teach them about the rules of the country they actually live in. And if you want to teach them that shit at home, knock yourself out. But this is how we actually run our judicial system here and our electoral system, and how this is what our rights are based on. So we're going to teach them that. And if they disagree with it, that's cool. And if you disagree with it, you can actually teach them that or whatever. But this asshole is like, do you think Donald Trump would show up and fight for their parental rights in that particular instance? Do you think? You think he'll come in and go, why are we fighting for these people's parental rights? You know, somebody comes into a school and they want, an honor killing. Why the fuck not? It's their kid.
I will fully uphold the Second Amendment. I will protect innocent life.
But guilty life, even marginally guilty life, fuck them. Also, if life begins at conception, so does original sin. So there is no innocent life. That's another thing. Just for the record, don't believe me? Check the Old Testament. Also, the Second Amendment, not under siege at all, or I'm sorry, under siege.
Under siege, Second Amendment.
Right.
We will restore free speech.
Yes, says the man talking to a crowd into a microphone that is being live streamed on the internet, which is forever.
And very importantly, I will secure our elections. We will do it differently.
How? If they're insecure, if they're unsecure, if they're not secure, and you're going to lose because they're not secure, how do you get into office to secure them unless you cheat. Ah.
And our goal will be one-day voting with paper ballots and voter ID. Very simple. One-day voting, paper ballots.
Yeah, but that'll have to be after you win. And if you win next time, how will you say that they were corrupt if you didn't have any of those things until you made them happen and you still got elected? Or do you think you're gonna lose and
voter ID? But until then, you have to get out and you have to vote. Please get
stupid voting.
out and vote.
Yeah, until we secure the elections, you guys got to go out and vote in these insecure elections. I don't know.
Pretend we're 1 point behind instead of 35 points up. The more we win by, the more we have a voice. Think of it that way. You got to get out and vote.
There's a reason why he's barnstorming this fucking state.
Even if you think we're going to win, who knows?
Yeah, he's seen some real numbers that are scaring him.
Sometimes polls are wrong.
That's why I keep saying I could be in Iowa right now while he's in the courtroom.
They got to really be wrong. That would be record-setting. But you got to get out and vote, and then we worry about November. Do one thing first. Biden, I can't imagine this guy. I just can't even imagine that he can be acceptable, allowing the millions and millions of people into our country like he's done. Afghanistan, we forget about Afghanistan.
Yeah, you mean the country you said you were going to get us out of and you ran on getting us out of and Biden actually did?
The most embarrassing day in the history of our country.
No, I would say there were many days where we could have left and we stayed. Every day past a certain point that we stayed when it was... when there was no way it was going to be a successful mission. Every day past that was way more embarrassing than the day we left.
All the things that he did are so bad, but
I will have a cat at the end of this. I'm just going to say, if I have to run upstairs and get one, when we're done with this, we will celebrate by having a cat.
We have to worry about.
Just come down. It'll Chip, Chud, somebody. I don't. Hold on. Let me check. Maybe somebody's at the door. Nope.
This caucus coming up, January 15th.
It's the most important caucus of the world.
Martin Luther King. It's Martin Luther King Day, so it's easy to remember. We have to get out and vote, even if we're going to do well.
Usually it's a day when you guys stay at home scared that this is the day of the black uprising, but you got to go out. You got to Iowa. You got to go out. There aren't that many black people. You'll be fine.
The caucus captains, I saw them backstage, and they said, "Oh, sir, it's going to be great."
It's going to be great. Yeah, because what are they going to say to you?
We got to make it great. We can't sit home. If we sit home.
Make Iowa great at all. It's not right now. Iowa sucks, kind of. It sucks. And I'll say it sucks even worse if I don't win.
We're losing. You're hurting us because we have to put up big numbers. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, and
it used to be 5.
I used to say the 5.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, I know. You have to say 10 now because nobody even thinks this point is worth saying.
Couldn't add them up. That the 10 worst in the history.
Sorry, you used to say 5, but why?
If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, and I used to say the 5, but it wasn't enough. You couldn't add them up. That the 10 worst in the history.
You couldn't add up 5. It's easier to add up 10 than 5. Yeah, math-wise.
They would not have done the destruction to our country as Joe Biden as his horrible administration have done.
Well, yeah, because they would have been bad and they would have actually wrecked the economy, for example. They would have had one of them would have crashed the stock market. The other one would have driven up unemployment. The other one would have, I don't know, gotten us into another Iraq war, something like that.
So,
Hi. I'm doing a Trump thing, so it's still on. I'm almost, yeah. Yeah.
I was in the gym. I was like, you're still talking.
Yeah. Yeah, but I promised them a cat at the end of this because we've been doing it so long. Hold on. No, they're fine. I'll do it at the end. We have to. That's our reward at the end.
If you want to save America from crooked Joe Biden, then get every patriot and everybody that you know registered.
Everybody
to Republican. We have to get registered Republican. Go out.
Right, because they are losing. Because they're not registered and they're not going out to vote, and we've seen that.
In their local precinct caucus at 7 p.m. 7 p.m.
Bring cookies.
On Monday, January 15th, Martin Luther King holiday.
which is, by the way, the child of Martin Luther King and Billie Holiday. I don't know if you know that, but he hyphenates his name. Now, Martin Luther King Jr., that's a different person. Yeah. And don't get me started on just Martin Luther.
And we're asking you to commit to caucus for us and bring as many people as you can. Say,
yeah, I don't care if they're from here. Bring the front row Joes that just yell and nobody's going to check ID. It's bullshit. The RNC's running this
hey,
thing.
Irma, let's go. Well, I really was wanting to watch television. No, I'm sorry, Irma.
Irma, get in the fucking car or you're eating cat food for Christmas.
Sign up at ia.donaldjtrump.com. Okay?
The .com part is easy to say. The rest of it seems to confuse us.
So in conclusion,
Finally, Jesus Christ.
together we're taking on some of the most menacing forces and vicious opponents our people have ever seen. Some of the most menacing.
Yes, totally. Yeah. Joe Biden, totally menacing. You're being menaced by a guy who you think can't walk off a stage and can't put two sentences together and who hides in a basement but manages to kick your ass. I guess it's kind of like this weird kind of like rope-a-dope Pennywise character.
Forces, many from within our country.
Well, yeah, most of them.
But no matter how
You mean, and by the way, he means people who didn't and won't vote for him. They're very menacing.
hateful and corrupt the communists and criminals we're fighting against may be, and they are vicious, vicious people that
Oh, vicious. They're vicious.
I believe hate our country.
Our country, you don't mean America, you mean Russia, right?
You must never forget.
When he says our country, I don't think he means the United States of America. I know he puts the flags up behind him, but I think that's a robot.
This nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you.
Technically, it belongs to everybody. That's the point. All Americans. It's a country. That's how it works.
This is your home.
America doesn't belong to all the masses of people in big cities who work every day and pay taxes and send their kids to school and brush their teeth and take a shit and go to Starbucks and try to go to a movie or a concert once a year and have streaming services and we'll have a pizza night once a month and fuck around. It doesn't belong to them. It belongs to you. Small town in Iowa.
This is your heritage, and your American liberty is your God-given right. You're not allowed to use the word God anymore. Did you?
You're not?
You see that one? They don't.
No, I didn't see that.
They don't want you to use the name. They don't want you to say God anymore.
Oh my God! They don't want me to say God? How they don't? Holy shit!
More.
Who?
From Sioux City to Iowa City.
To Sioux Falls.
From Fort Dodge to Cedar Rapids, and from Des Moines.
From Cedar Falls to Cedar Closets.
To Davenport.
Mr. Davenport to you, motherfucker.
We stand on the shoulders of generations of
You must be killing them right now.
Iowa patriots who gave everything they had for our country and for our freedom. Incredible people, incredible, brave, strong people.
They'd have to be for you to be on their shoulders. They'd be ridiculously strong.
This great state was founded by tough frontiermen, strong pioneer women who defied the dangers to carve out a life for a great family, beautiful home.
They carved out a great family? Well, I guess some of them, they did have cabin fever out here in the middle of nowhere.
Family. They tamed the wilderness. They braved the elements. They
stormed the ramparts. They took over the airports. They did whatever they had to do. And then, of course, Michigan gave us Motang.
Michigan gave us Motang.
Right.
They tilled the soil. They worked the fields. They built the factories, and they poured out their blood, sweat, and tears to make this country into the greatest nation in the history of the world.
Simmer down. You're in Iowa. They didn't build the Empire State Building. These aren't the people who laid the tracks. They're good people, but fucking relax. They didn't have like a designated person in every family to throw themselves on a grenade once a week. Jesus. Oh my God. They're playing the music. This is going to be embarrassing. I'm already embarrassed. I don't know if I can do this. I might. Oh, shit. We gotta do it. We gotta do it. This is the closest. I saw this church thing and they wanted me to do it. Now I've got to do it. Don't exhale like you're gonna fucking sing and you're trying to get your breath together. This is the part where I stand around like Hitler while a keyboard plays in the background. Where was I? I missed the entry. I gotta go. One more round, boys. I gotta start back at the first verse. Bullshit! This is so stupid. It's so fucking dramatic. I'm an asshole. I shit my pants today.
But now,
as I fill my diaper with soup, in a town I wouldn't piss on if it was on fire, in a state I think owes me the presidency.
we are a nation in decline.
Nation in decline.
We are a failing nation.
A
We are a
failing
nation that has the highest inflation in 50 years,
Inflation in
where
50
banks are
years.
collapsing and interest rates are skyrocketing.
Banks and interest rates are fucked.
Likewise, we are a nation where energy costs have reached the highest levels
Highest
in our history.
levels in
We are no longer
history.
energy independent or
We're no
energy
longer
dominant as
energy
we were
independent.
just
I'm
a
just gonna
few short
sing
years ago.
the
We're a
entire
nation
speech
that
I
is
just
begging
made.
Venezuela and
We're
many
begging
others for oil.
Venezuela.
Please, please, please help us. Joe Biden says.
Please,
Yet we have more liquid
help
gold
Joe
under our
Biden with
feet
your tar that
than
you can
any
only
other
process
nation
in
anywhere in the world.
Houston.
We are a nation
A nation.
that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia
Oh,
will
no.
be reducing their oil production.
Oh, we just
while
heard
at the
they
same
were
time
diminishing their
substantially
oil
increasing the
output and
price.
oh shit, what we're
And
gonna
we
do?
met that threat
Yeah.
by announcing that we will no longer be drilling for oil in large areas. of
We're
Alaska
only
or
gonna drill
elsewhere
in the
States.
small places.
We are a nation that is consumed
We're
by
a
the radical
nation.
left's Green New Deal.
The
Yet everyone
Green
knows that the Green New Deal is fake.
It's a
and will lead
fake.
to
It's
our
it's a
destruction.
fraud. It's a witchcraft hoax.
We are a nation
like
whose
all the other
leaders are demanding
hoaxes.
all electric cars,
All
despite the
electric
fact that they can't go
cars.
far,
They
cost
can't
too
go
much,
far at all. They
and
just
whose
pull over
batteries
the
are
side and you
produced in China
freeze.
with materials only
China.
available in China.
Only
When
materials
an
like
unlimited amount
noodles.
of
These
gasoline
cars.
is available
These cars-
inexpensively in the
These
United
cars run
States,
on noodles.
but is not available in
A
China.
noodle car.
And now we are a
won't
nation
run
that
very
wants to
far.
make our revered and very powerful army
Oh.
tanks the best in the world.
The best tanks in
We
the
want to make
world.
them all electric,
We're gonna make electric
so that despite
tanks
the
and they won't
fact
go
that they
very
are
far.
also not able to go far,
They're gonna
few
drive in fucking
pollutants will be released
circles.
into the air as we blast our way through enemy territory
We're
in
going
an
to be quiet.
environmentally friendly manner.
That's right. We're gonna save the earth while we blow the shit
And they
apart.
also want to make
They
our
wanna-
fighter jets with a green stamp
wanna-
of energy savings.
They wanna
They're
make our
losing 15%
green
efficiency, but
airplanes.
allowing us to keep our enemy's atmosphere clean of emissions
I don't know what
as
the
we
fuck he's
viciously
talking
and
about at this point.
unceremoniously attack them at levels never seen before.
They're never gonna see
Who
it
are
coming
these
because our
people
silent
that would do
tanks will
this
be
to
electric.
us?
No,
Who
sorry.
are these people
Who
would ruin
are
our country?
they?
We are a nation that ended oil
We're a nation.
exploration and production in the United States just as the price of oil
I
reached an
know.
all-time high.
Oh, there's no
What other country would do such a foolish
oil anymore.
and self-destructive thing?
Oh, we've got
Can we be energy
natural gas.
independent? Can we ever
Liquid
be energy
fucking
dominant
gold.
again? Yes, oh
Under
yes,
our
and
feet.
quickly, says President Trump. Yes, oh,
says.
yes, and
He
quickly.
says.
We are a nation that surrendered in Afghanistan.
We're a surrendering nation to the Lord. No,
American
not to the
citizens,
Lord. Some bad.
And $85 billion worth of the finest military
$85
equipment in the
worth
world
of used
behind.
military equipment that we
And
just left
also
for a bunch of people
abandoning
where it
Bagram,
rusted in the
one
sand.
of the biggest military bases anywhere in the world.
Anywhere.
And only 1 hour away from where China makes its
It's right
nuclear
next
weapons.
door to
We are a
China's
nation that allowed
bombs.
Russia to devastate Ukraine, killing
Oh, we
hundreds
let
of
them do it
thousands
until
of
we
people,
stopped them from doing it.
and it will only get worse.
It's only gonna
It
get
would never have happened with
worse.
me as your president. And for
Because they
4
would have
straight
just won
years,
in
it
2
didn't
days.
happen. Likewise, the
Likewise
horrifying
is not a
attack on Israel
word, but he
would
said it
never have
anyway.
happened. They wouldn't even have thought of
Likewise.
doing it if President Trump was in the Oval Office. It wouldn't have been a thought. Iran was
Because
broke
they don't
under the
think
Trump
about this shit,
administration.
they just
didn't have
fucking
the money
do
to
it.
fund Hamas,
They're gonna fund
Hezbollah,
it.
and all
Hezbollah.
of the other instruments of terror.
And all
But
of the
those sanctions were
saxophone of
lifted by
terror,
a corrupt
the
Biden
viola
administration,
of
and now
terror,
Iran is a rich country.
the piccolo
With
of
$200
terror,
billion
all the
and another
instruments
$6
of
billion for
terror.
hostages, and $10 billion from
$10
electricity for
billion.
Iraq.
This is
all
going on
compliments of an
far too
incompetent
fucking
Biden administration. And China,
China,
with Taiwan is next.
Taiwan is
We're a
next.
nation that allows
They're
the
gonna go
radical left to
down.
violently attack our cities, leaving behind
Oh,
massive
no.
destruction and death.
Oh no, massive
And nothing
destruction.
happens to the violent criminals that do these
Coralville,
terrible
Iowa,
things.
you're fucked
There is no
after
punishment, but
all.
when the people
The
who love
Chinese
our country
are coming.
protest in
They're
Washington,
gonna
they become
steal your
hostages,
ethanol.
unfairly imprisoned for long periods of time.
You're going to
So
jail.
sad, isn't it?
So
sad.
fucking
We're a
sad.
third world nation that
We're
has
number
weaponized its law
3,
enforcement
but we feel
against
like number
opposing political
2.
parties like never before.
Like
We've got a federal
never
Bureau
before,
of
but we've
Investigation
heard
that
this
won't
all
allow
before.
bad election-changing facts to be presented to the
Oh
public.
no, they didn't even let these
And
things
which
be
offers
shown in
$1
court.
million to a writer of fiction about Donald J. Trump
Oh
to lie
no!
and say it was fact, where Hunter Biden's laptop
So,
from hell was
the
Russian
laptop
disinformation.
Nobody's ever
And the
actually
FBI
laid
knew it
eyes
wasn't.
on.
But
But whatever
51
the fuck.
intelligence agents said it was.
51
And the Department of
lying son of a
Justice that
bitches tried
refuses
to
to
say it
investigate
was
egregious
Russian
acts of
disinformation
voting
when Russia actually,
irregularities and fraud.
when Rudy Giuliani bought
have
it
a man
in
who is
Ukraine
totally corrupt
from Russians, but
And
whatever,
the worst president in the history of our country,
is standing
who is
right before
cognitively
you,
impaired, in
is-
no condition to lead, and
and
is now in
he's
charge
speaking
of
to a
dealing
backing
with
track
Russia
of
and possible
organ
nuclear
music.
war,
Oh no!
which would be World War III and far more devastating than any of the previous world wars because of the weaponry that no one even wants to think about.
The end of the world.
We are a nation that no longer has a free and fair
We're
press.
doomed.
Fake news is all you get.
Death and
And they are indeed
horror.
the enemy of the people.
Sadness
They
and
refuse to discuss the Biden crime family,
devastation.
but enjoy
That's
covering
the
false
only
indictments
future we
of
have.
Donald J.
11
Trump,
months of
who has done nothing wrong except win an
hell.
election. We are a nation where free
Something's
speech
wrong
is
with
no
his
longer
erection.
allowed, and where crime is rampant and out
Crimes
of control.
everywhere. I just
like
got.
never
Where the
before.
fuck is my wallet?
We are a
I laid it down a
nation
second
that is
ago, and that
allowing
orange-haired
Iran to
motherfucker
build
ran
a
off with it.
massive
But
nuclear weapon in China to use the
every
trillions
nuclear
and
weapon, they're gonna
trillions of dollars
bomb
it has
you
taken
while
from
they
us
rip you off.
to build a military to rival
Oh.
our own.
Oh
And
yes,
less than
that's
3
the whole
years
point.
ago, we had Iran,
Oh
China,
no,
Russia, and North Korea in check.
they were all in
They
check. Check,
respected us.
please. This
They were afraid
motherfucker
of
won't
us.
stop talking.
They weren't going
How
to do a
long
thing
is this
against
fucking
us,
loop?
and
It goes
everyone
on
knows
and on
it.
and on.
Now
This is
Russia
supposed to
and
be
China are
inspiring,
holding
but he's
summits
just saying the same
to
shit
carve
over
up
and
the
over
world.
and over and
And perhaps
over and
most
over and
importantly, we are a
over and
nation
over
that no
and
longer
over.
is admired,
Again.
respected, or listened to on the world stage.
On
We are
the
a
world
nation that in many ways
stage,
has become
on
a
the
joke.
world's a stage.
We are a nation that is hostile to liberty, freedom, faith.
We hate
and
liberty
even
and
to
freedom. So much we elected
We are
Donald
a nation
Trump.
whose economy is collapsing
Then we
into
kick him
a
the curb, so I guess
cesspool of
we're
ruin,
okay.
whose supply chain is broken,
Our
whose
supply
stores are
chain
not
has got a,
stocked, whose
but there's a
deliveries
kink
are
in
not
it, but it's
coming,
fine.
and whose educational system is ranked at the very bottom of every
Mainly
single
because
list.
changes Republicans have
We
made
are
over
a nation where
time.
large packs
Without the
of
red
sadistic
states, we're doing
criminals and
just
thieves are allowed to go
fine.
into stores. and openly rob them, beat up
Opie
and kill
robbed,
their workers
Opie
and
robbed a bunch
customers,
of
and
stores.
leave with
Opie
armloads
came
of goods,
in.
but with
He
no
looked very
retribution.
trustworthy, white little kid
Where
with
the
freckles, and he
authority
ran
of our
out
great
with a
police has
fucking
been
fishing
taken, where
pole.
their
He
families
never
and
paid
pensions have been
for.
threatened, and their
Opie.
lives would be destroyed for the mere
Terrible.
mention of the words law enforcement.
They
We are a
lost
nation
their
where
lives.
fentanyl
You
and
just
all
say law
forms
enforcement,
of
they crumble
illegal
like a
drugs are
vampire.
easier to get than groceries to feed our beautiful families. A
The ugly
nation whose
families
once
gotta
revered
eat too.
Airports, those beautiful, beautiful airports,
They're great
are
airports.
dirty,
They're
are
ass.
crowded,
They're shitty.
mess.
They're horrible.
You sit
They're
and
terrible.
wait for hours and then are notified that the plane
gross.
won't leave, and they have no idea when they will. Where ticket prices
Plane
have
just sits there
tripled.
out of
They don't have the
spite.
pilots to fly the planes. They don't have the qualified air traffic controllers. And
It's
they
awful.
just don't know what the hell they're doing.
Nobody
We
knows
are a
where these
nation that
planes
has
are
lost
going.
its confidence, willpower, and strength. We
That's
are
right.
a nation that has lost its way.
I don't know
But we
where
are
I am
not
right
going to allow
now.
this
I don't know
horror
where
to
the fuck you
continue.
are right now.
3 years ago, we were a great nation.
That had
and
a
we will
million
soon
people
be a
dying of
great
COVID,
nation
and
again.
everybody stayed home and was ordering
It was the
food and
hard-working
binge watching
patriots
television
like
shows,
you
and
who built this
nobody was
country.
working.
And it's the hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country.
He's, of course, talking to the front row Joes who are largely retirees who drive around the country just watching this asshole say the same
We will
shit
fight
over
for
and over
America
and over and
like no
over
one
and
has
over and
ever
over
fought
and over.
before.
You're
With
going
you
to
at
have
my
to.
side, we
He's
will
fighting with
demolish
reality.
the deep state. We will
He's
drive
going
out the
to.
globalists.
He's going to
We
drive
will
out the
cast out
globalists,
communists.
cast out the
We
communists.
will throw off the
We'll
sick
myth the
political
Marxists.
class. We will
We're
rout
going to
the
fuck
fake
off the
news media.
fascists.
We will drain
We're
the
going
swamp,
we'll
and
frighten
we
the
will liberate
fascists.
our country
We're going
from
to
these tyrants and
suck off the
villains once and
socialists.
for all.
I don't think that's what he means. Please don't applaud, because this song will just keep going on and on forever. Because
Like
there's no
those great
end,
patriots
no
before
fucking
us,
way this
we
isn't a
will not
loop,
bend,
because
we
nobody
will not
sat and
break,
played
we
this
will
shit
not yield. We will never give in. We will never give up.
this long. Nobody
we will
sat at a
never,
keyboard
ever back
playing
down.
this
With your
loop
support, we
over
will
and
go on to
over and
victory, the
over
likes
and
of which
over
no one has
again.
ever seen before.
Nobody's ever
We
seen
will
something
evict
this done
crooked
before.
Joe Biden from the White House, and we will take back our country
I
on
think this
election
song
day
is
2024.
11 months
The
old.
great silent majority is rising like
I
never
think this
before,
song
and under
is
our leadership,
11
the
months
forgotten
long.
men and women will be forgotten.
11 more months of this shit is driving me crazy.
No longer.
This is longer than I hoped it would be.
One movement, one people, one family,
movement,
and one glorious
one
nation
people,
under God.
one poople.
And together, we will make
Together,
America powerful again.
That's right, we're going to make America have more nuclear weapons that we never
we will
use.
make America wealthy again.
We're going to make rich people have the money back and take away
We
the
will
retail
make
investors'
America
money.
proud again.
Except gay people
We
and
will
women.
make America safe again. We
At
will
least he
make
means that they won't be
America
raiding Mar-a-Lago.
great again. We will love our country. We
Oh,
will
we
take
love
care
it.
of our country.
Oh, we're gonna take care of
We
it.
will pray
Don't
to
litter.
God
Don't pollute.
for strength and
Give
for
a
liberty.
hoot.
We
Don't
will pray
pollute.
for God.
We'll
and
pray for
we
God.
will be
And
with
see,
God.
make sure
Iowa, thank
God
you
will
very
be
much.
doing
This was a great
just
honor.
fine.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you very
everyone.
much.
Thank-
Hold on. Back the fuck up 1 second. Did he just say we'll pray for God?
America safe again. We will make America great again. We will love our country. We will take care of our country. We will pray to God for strength and for liberty. We will pray for God, and we will be with
We'll pray for God.
God.
We'll pray for God and we'll be with God. So he means the rapture. Fucking hell.
Iowa, thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I've had enough of that shit. And so have you. And thank you guys for sticking around. Oh my gosh, Klaatu, Baranha, Nickel, Nincompoop. It's like, oh my God. We made it through though. Shit. Okay, hang out here. Talk amongst yourself. I'm going to go get a cat because you've earned it. Hold on one second. Let's see. Which cat is down here? You got a cat? Is there a cat nearby? It isn't Judd. I feel bad. Here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Maddie. Maddie, everybody, Maddie. How you doing? Maddie is very sweet. She's very beautiful, and she's sort of dumb. And she's just a very lovely, relaxed cat. Now, she is, and this is not, I love her if I'm saying nice things about her, because she is also the ball stepper of the family. She's the one who somehow has testicle-seeking hind legs and can manage to, in the morning, say, it's time for you to get up. You need to move around. You need to get active. Get at your day. Carpe diem. And so she, stompe testes. And there she is. She's the one. She's real sweet. Yeah. She's a sweet girl. She's a sweet kitty. This is Maddie. It's a sweet girl. So thank you guys for hanging out. That ending was fucking ridiculous. I don't know what the hell. I had no idea he was going to do that stupid, like Tribune Broadcasting Network mega preacher bullshit. Yeah. So, she's pretty. It's Maddie, as in DD. Yeah, yeah, she's a sweet girl. She was kind of napping, so I think she's really tired. So she's not doing much. She's just kind of hanging out. And she's curled her tail around my arm. If you see that, I've got like an arm collar. That's her tail wrapped around it. So sweet. Yeah. She's very different. We don't bring out Maddie a lot because she can be sensitive. So she doesn't quite know what to do. But yeah, Maddie's lovely. Yeah. But she is the ball stepper, and that's that. No, Murph doesn't do that at 3 a.m. Murph is just loud. Murph just talks. He just fucking, at any hour, if you move, Murphy starts going meow, meow, meow in the closet or wherever the fuck he is. He can hear you rustle, and then he starts meowing and wakes everybody up. But yeah, Maddie is beautiful. She's like a show cat or something. She's just beautiful. She's very sweet. She's the nicest cat. Never had a moment of even like nipping or clawing at anybody ever. Every cat has a little bit of it, not a once. She's been the sweetest cat ever. That's right, you are. You're just a darling. You're a lovely kitty. You're sweet. Yes, you are. You're just a lovely cat. Shall I pick you up and this will be the one time you decided like, I can't take it anymore. There she is. Aw, she's just tired. She was asleep. So, yeah. Yeah. She was starting to, she was like, I was just about to lay down. I have no energy left. Yeah. So, anyways, love you guys. Thanks for hanging out. I know I went long, but shit happens. And from me to you and from Maddie, I want everybody to remember that, hold on. Maddie wants to say one thing about the kidney. No, I think we're okay. I think we'll be all right. Have a great night. See you guys later. Thank you.